from BB&T Field in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Welcome everyone to the ACC on ESPN on a cool and clear night. It's the first meeting all time between Wake Forest and Notre Dame. Notre Dame, one of the most storied programs in all of college football, meeting up for the first time on this, the first November and Saturday of the college football season. As we take a look at the standings in the ACC in the Atlantic Division, Wake Forest at 4-2 in conference play, 5-3 overall. The next two games at Clemson and at home against Maryland. So a great opportunity for the Demon Deacons. Notre Dame, meanwhile, coming in at 5-3 as well. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, along with Ed Cunningham. Thanks for coming aboard to this, the first hookup all time between Notre Dame and Wake Forest. Ed, when you look at both these teams today, a great opportunity to become bowl eligible with their 6th win. And as far as Wake Forest goes, after 2 sub-500 years, that is a great accomplishment.
There was nobody in this region who picked Wake Forest to finish above 4th in the Atlantic Division. So to still be alive is huge. Now, if they can't get it done in Death Valley and then beat Maryland to go to the ACC championship game, they're going to be in that mid-pack for bowls. So they're going to be going against teams like UNC, Georgia Tech, University of Virginia. So games like this are very big for them in the bowl outlook. And let's not forget, Notre Dame not mathematically eliminated yet from the BCS. 9 wins and top 14 in the BCS. That's a stretch. Looks more likely like the Champs Sports Bowl, but they're not quite out of it yet. Well,
Brian Kelly, their head coach, says that Notre Dame physically is a lot further ahead this year than they were last year at this point. And when you look at some of the potential pyrotechnics, the firepower on the field tonight, it starts with this guy, M.Floyd at Notre Dame.
Done a wonderful job. He was suspended from a DUI in the spring, came back in August, has had a great year. Of course, T.Rees, his quarterback, gotten into more of a flow than he was as a freshman at the end of last season. And the guy who's really become the leader of this team, Manti Te'o, he was very outspoken after Brian Kelly called out some players from the Charlie Weiss era before the Navy game. They all got together. He was a little bit out of his game against USC last week against Navy. 13 tackles, played really well.
Wake Forest trying to bounce back after an off week last week. Tanner Price had a couple of costly turnovers.
But when you talk to the Notre Dame coaches, they don't want to talk about North Carolina. They want to talk about how on he was against Florida State. The lefty, like Reese, started as a true freshman. The offense set around his arm. This is a passing offense, and a lot of it is because of Chris Givens. Quick quiz. Who leads the ACC in catching? It's not Sammy Watkins.
Really?
At Clemson, a lot of people would think that. It's Chris Givens, a guy who can stretch the field vertically. He's also very good in space, so watch him on wide receiver screens as well.
Wake Forest starting to get a little bit healthier, especially at some key spots like in the backfield. A couple of teams tonight working with a blank canvas, trying to paint themselves some master strokes and paint themselves into a very good bowl picture when it's all said and done. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a few moments.
Welcome to College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
I'm completely naked. Go State!
And if you've got 15-minute insurance, they might not pay for this. So get Allstate. You can save cash and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Shop less, get more. Make one call to an Allstate agent.
I got this city thank you card and started earning loads of points.
Okay, we'll leave that there for now.
You got a weather balloon with points.
Yes, I did.
Points I could use for just about anything.
Keep on going in this direction. Take this bridge over here. There it is.
So I used mine to get a whole new perspective.
Write your story with the Citi Thank You Premier Card. With no point caps and points that don't expire. Get started at thankyoucard.citi.com.
Wow, what's that?
Oh, it's the new AT&T smartphone.
Nice. I wish I could afford one.
Yeah, I got a good deal.
Look at that screen. Fast, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Last week, FITD.
It streams movies.
Turn left now.
Look at this camera. Hold on. Let's get a photo.
I'm listening to downloaded music.
Oh, I can afford that.
See ya.
The AT&T Impulse 4G. For $29.99, there's no excuse not to get your own. AT&T.
Thanks to Watch ESPN, we never miss any live games or our favorite ESPN shows. No, I taught him that.
Watch ESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. The ESPN networks, live anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone, to BB&T Field here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's the ACC on ESPN. Notre Dame taking on Wake Forest. Notre Dame coming off a very impressive win last week against Navy. They've won 5 of the last 6. Wake Forest, meanwhile, has been a little bit inconsistent in their last half dozen games, coming off a loss last week against North Carolina. But a great opportunity here tonight for a couple of teams. A 6th win would mean bowl eligibility.
And for Jim Grobe and his staff, such a great turnaround from last year. And of course, Brian Kelly in his 2nd season. 11-0, has a streak of 11 straight wins in November, and last year really needed it at this time. Last year they were 4-5 going into November. Dane Christ had injured his knee. T.Rees, a freshman that no one knew much about, had to come in, and they won down the stretch, and of course got to a bowl game and beat Miami. For Jim Grobe, just a guy who's been so steady here at Wake Forest. Last 2 seasons sub 500, but you're going to have those ups and downs. The smallest school as goes enrollment for any automatic qualifying conference school in the country. So it's got an uphill battle. Let's not forget, won an ACC championship back in 2006.
Notre Dame winning the toss, deferring to the second half. The Demon Deacons receiving. Errol Noel turns the corner and heads north at about the 30-yard line, where he's pushed out of bounds. That's where Tanner Price, the 6'2", 205-pound sophomore, will take over 1st down and 10. He's completing 61% of his passes, 14 touchdown tosses against 6 interceptions. Had a couple last week, though, that came at a very untimely moment for them.
Tough loss against North Carolina. 5 turnovers for Wake Forest. They had 5 total turnovers in the first 7 games. So trying to get back on track here in a rare off night in his sophomore year for Tanner Price against North Carolina.
Brandon Pendergrass is the tailback, lining up behind the quarterback. Little pistol formation look. Pendergrass gets the handoff, has a nice seam over the right side, still on his feet, and picks up 14 yards for 1st down as we check out our impact players, brought to you tonight by Chick-fil-A.
For Wake Forest offensively, Michael Campanaro, a young man who suffered a hamstring injury earlier in the year. He's back full speed. With given speed, he's a good underneath target. Joe Looney, guy who's the leader up front on a senior-laden offensive line, going against a very young defensive front because of injuries for Notre Dame. And Harrison Smith, talking to Bob Diaco, the defense coordinator, he says it'd be easy to call him blue-collar hard-working, but a very good athlete, very fast, good hips, and can turn. And Diaco pointed out what kind of year he's had. They've been very impressed with him.
Well, we were talking about Looney as one of our impact players up front there. There he is, being tended to by the athletic trainers for Wake Forest. Looney, the bell cow up front, 320 pounds, out of Lake Worth, Florida, holding his right arm. And they have Garrick Williams that moved in to start at center this week. So they've had a couple of changes already up on the offensive line for Jim Grobe. How does that potentially affect, Ed, what they do running the ball? Let's talk about that after this play here. 1st and 10 coming up after that 14-yard gain by Pendergrass. Little option game. Pendergrass again, this time the other way. And a nice gain of about 5 or 6. Shembo makes the stop. And what happens now without Looney?
Well, Looney's a guy that not only brings you a physical presence, he's a 4-year starter, and going against this defensive line, mention how young they are up front. Tuitt, Nix, Lynch, all 1st-year players. Tuitt and Lynch, true freshmen, because of injuries to Lewis Moore and Ethan Johnson. Sean Swinar may get some time here, but they were hoping, Wake Forest was hoping to get this run game going. So losing Looney, kind of a big deal for them.
That pass complete right near the first down marker. Pass complete to Chris Gibbons, another one of our impact players, as we take a look at Gibbons amongst the skill people. Prendergrass with a couple of catches already, or carries already. And look at the guys up front. Might want to note that Summers, number 68, came in for Looney after he was shaken up. First down and 10 for the Demon Deacons at Notre Dame's 45. Here's the reverse to Gibbons, trying to get to the edge, and he does. Steps out of bounds with another Wake Forest first down. As we take a look now at that Fighting Irish defense, 3 freshmen up front. One of them a redshirt freshman, but 3 freshmen up front. And
the linebacking group, of course, led by Teo, but Dan Fox, a guy that they pointed out as the most improved when this staff got here. Didn't even think he was going to figure in. Gray and Blanton on the edge, playing a little bit better. You can go after them a little bit.
First down and 10. The Demon Deacons moving the ball well here on their first series. Flag down on the field. Pendergrass again with a nice burst. Gets about 8 on the play if it stands. Brandon Pendergrass filling in for Josh Harris, who was shaken up in that Florida State game with a hamstring injury.
Formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's a big mistake, a pre-snap penalty when you've got something going. Right now, Wake Forest mixing in some reverse, which is something that Jim Grove has always done. Misdirection, things of that nature. They'll do some passing out of that reverse motion. They've got a little running game going. All of a sudden, they stub their toe a bit and give up 5 yards.
Price taking the snap, a young man who was a true freshman last year. Started against Stanford and Florida State. Used to the pressure cooker. Wide open over the middle at the 30-yard line. The catch complete. That's Campanero with the reception.
And right now, Notre Dame getting absolutely 0 pressure. Notre Dame plays 2 different defensive fronts. They play a 3-man front and a 4-man front. When they're in that 3-man front like they were there, they're playing back in their stance a little bit. They're playing what's called a 2-gap technique, where the defensive linemen are responsible for gaps on either side of the offensive lineman. And the problem with that is sometimes you get stuck in your stance, and right now getting no pressure on the passing because of it.
Price gets rid of it quickly. On the edge, complete. And Gibbons with another nice gain. Brought down finally by Gray.
Tanner Price doesn't even look like the same quarterback that played last week against North Carolina. They had some drops early. 2 turnovers on their first 2 series led to 14 straight points for North Carolina, but right now he looks completely in rhythm.
Out of Westlake High School in Austin, Texas, a very storied high school program. They're going to run it this time. Pendergrass cuts it back and falls forward across the 20. Pendergrass, as I mentioned, filling in for Josh Harris, who has an injured hamstring. Harris, the faster of the 2 tailbacks, but he's had problems of late with that hamstring injury, and practiced well this week. Jim Grove hoping that he'll be able to see some time and get some reps. There's a look at Harris on the sidelines.
He's a guy who can really spring it. Last year against Virginia Tech went for 241 yards, the most ever given up by the Hokies. So Jim Grove hoping to get him into the ballgame at some point.
8th play of the drive, complete. Touchdown Deacons. Pendergrass with the score. You couldn't have scripted a better start for Wake Forest, looking for their 6th win in bowl eligibility. Brandon Pendergrass, a key cog offensively in this opening, very impressive 8-play drive.
And Notre Dame looked completely flat-footed that entire drive. They look like they are out of sorts. Little misdirection caught them completely off guard on that touchdown.
Well, if there are any thoughts of a bad hangover from that loss last week against North Carolina, They answer the question early here. Wake Forest up 7-0 when we come back to Winston-Salem.
It works with people. It works with cars. The newly refined Acura TL. Aggression in its most elegant form.
What is that?
Oh, we call it the bundler. Let's say you need home and auto insurance. You give us your information once online. And we give you a discount on both.
Great.
Did I mention no hands in the bundler?
Bundling and saving made easy. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
It's time to light up the season and fire up the barbie. So sail into Outback this holiday season and enjoy one of our great steak combinations. For a limited time, try our signature sirloin with delicious wood-fired shrimp and a side for just $11.99. Or treat yourself with an 8-ounce cut of herb-crusted prime rib, plus a freshly steamed lobster tail with a salad and a side. And as a gift from us, purchase $100 in gift cards, get a $20 bonus card free. It's always fresh in the Outback.
Cardiology, I don't have the heart. Pulmonary doctor, no cigar. I can't diagnose a simple cold or flu, but if your engine's got a cough, I know what to do. Give it 6 of these and wash it down with this. A new air filter ought to help it catch its breath. Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Catch the exclusive unveiling of the highly anticipated new BCS standings in the aftermath of the big LSU-Alabama showdown.
With one loss, they're likely to be ranked ahead of Boise State.
BCS Countdown, tomorrow at 8:15 on ESPN.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, Notre Dame had a good game plan coming into the game, but as witnessed by that poster, as Mike Tyson used to say, everyone's got a great plan until they get punched in the mouth. Look at Pendergast, a vital part of that score. An impressive opening drive for Wake Forest. But don't sleep on Notre Dame's kickoff return unit. George Atkinson, the third, back deep, along with Austin Collinsworth. Atkinson in particular has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns so far this year. Wake Forest stepping out of conference play for a week before getting back to the next 2. At Clemson and then against Maryland.
Big one at Clemson because Clemson lost to Georgia Tech, opened the door in the Atlantic. Get a win there, come home and beat Maryland, go back to the ACC championship game.
Head coach Jim Grobe saying there's nothing wrong with playing a game out of sequence a little bit, especially a big one against a national program like Notre Dame. This is Austin Collinsworth, so they kick it away from Atkinson, the third, but Collinsworth with a nice return all the way out to the 45-yard line. Let's take one more look at that touchdown. What was the key here, Ed?
Well, Cameron Ford releases to the inside, and he's being covered by J.Gray. Now, as the back comes over, it's easy to say, well, Darius Fleming should be the guy who gets there, but he's the outside linebacker. The problem was Carlo Calabrese, the middle linebacker, because the back was lined up to that side. You can see Calabrese there on the chase, and Brian Kelly comes over and says, look, it's a misdirection. You have to follow him. So it's easy to see and think it's Fleming's guy, the outside linebacker. But no, that's actually the middle backer, Calabrese, who has to come over all the way across that formation. Great call by Steve Labotsky, the offensive coordinator for Wake Forest.
Good starting field position for the Fighting Irish on their first offensive possession here. T.Rees, the starting quarterback, working out of the shotgun, hands it off to Jonas Gray, the starting tailback. He gets about 5 on first down. Let's take a look at T.Rees, who took over as a starter this exact weekend a year ago at this time and finished up a very impressive 4-0, including a bowl win. So it has been night and day for him in those 12 months in his development.
And you think about where this team was at this time last year, 4-5. Dane Chris goes down with a blown patella tendon, needs surgery. Everybody wondering what's going to happen. They win down the stretch. Big win over number 15 Utah to get to a bowl.
There's Jonas Gray tiptoeing around a couple of would-be tacklers. Brought down by Nikita Whitlock. It'll be third down, about 4 to go as we take a look at our impact players. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
One of the best stories in all of college football, I think. Jonas Gray, a guy who had struggled coming into this year, had a fumble in that first game against South Florida. There's a return for a touchdown, has earned his way onto the field. T.Eifert, a guy who can move all over the field. He challenges you because he can stay in when they go into a 4 wide receiver set. And Morel Noel leads the country in passes defended, 15 pass breakups, an interception. Very aggressive young corner. He's got to have his hands full tonight with M.Floyd.
3rd and 3. They come after him, and Reese calmly gets it off for the first down at the 40-yard line, complete to T.J. Jones. As we take a look at the rest of the Notre Dame offense, Jones and Riddick joining Floyd, the main receiver there, the leading receiver, and the offensive line doing a nice job trying to keep their quarterback upright tonight.
They threw a shutout in the month of October, gave up 0 sacks. The last sack given up by Notre Dame September 24th against Pittsburgh. It's a very veteran group.
You take a lot of pride in those stats, huh? Former offensive lineman.
They've given up 5 this year. My senior year we gave up 6. So to put that in, and that's incredible. That's an incredible stat that they've only given up 5 sacks all year.
And creating a nice hole there for Jonas Gray, who picks up about 4. Let's take a look at this defense now for Wake Forest. Doherty, Whitlock, and Thompson, and that 3-4 alignment. Petros, Wilbur, Haynes, and Ehrman. And we mentioned him, a.k.a. Bud, out of Pahokee, Florida, one of the leaders there in the secondary.
And Brian Knorr, who background didn't screen defense. He was a quarterback at the Air Force Academy. Started coaching for Jim Grove.
Wilbur made the stop. There's a fumble. Kyle Wilbur made the initial hit, and the ball came loose. Notre Dame getting it back.
What a wonderful job by Wilbur as he was making the tackle. And we were talking to Brian Knorr yesterday, and he said Wilbur's our big play guy. Watch as he goes in and he starts working on the ball as he's got him standing up, knocks it right through. You know, that's that 4 points of pressure we always talk about. That ball was a little bit low, and you could see how much of it was exposed. You get a little chop there by Wilbur to knock it free.
3rd and 4. They converted last time on 3rd down. Wood now in the backfield. Reese gets rid of it quickly again and finds his receiver again for a first down. His tight end, T.Eifert, who we were referring to just a few moments ago, working against Joey Ehrman, picks up the first down and keeps the chains moving. Second leading receiver on the team.
And Reese becoming more vocal as a leader, starting to get comfortable as a starting quarterback. He brought everybody together after USC. He had a little bit of a shaky game, as everybody did in that ball game, and he got his offense together and said, let's not let one bad game derail our season. So becoming more of a leader. That was a nice throw by him to his tight end.
On the reverse, and the throw now. Goodman into the end zone and incomplete. Intended for M.Floyd, who usually wins a lot of those jump balls. And Floyd trying to tune out the noise by the DBs there.
And this is wonderful coverage by Wake Forest. They're not biting on it at all. Nice job by the safety, turning and running. Quarles. You can't fault Goodman for throwing that up. You make a good point. A guy who's 6'3", 224 and can jump, but good coverage by Wake Forest.
2nd down and 10. Empty formation. Now Wood in the backfield takes the handoff. Sierra Wood with a nice sidestep and then brought down at about the 28-yard line. And M.Floyd always attracts a lot of attention, a lot of double coverage, and he's going to be getting the noise in stereo. He's putting some headphones on there so he doesn't have to hear it there, partner, huh?
I don't know how much you want to poke that bee's nest. I'm sure he's heard it in his career here. He has been a guy who's been targeted since he got here, both good and bad. So I'm sure he's used to it.
3rd and 9. They've converted twice already tonight on 3rd down. Rees given plenty of time all day, and wisely throws it out of bounds. Good coverage apparently in the secondary that time by Wake Forest, and good heat up front by Kyle Wilbur once again. And they're still talking to M.Floyd. 4th down coming up. David Ruffer, the place kicker for Notre Dame. 5 of 9 this year and a long of 39 on this season. They're going to spot this one at the 34. A 44-yard attempt. And Ruffer knocks it through. So Notre Dame answers with some points on their opening drive of the ball game. Tommy Rees continues to grow snap by snap at quarterback. Back with more.
Whoa, that's not a Miller Lite.
Oh, light beer is light beer.
No, Miller Lite has more taste.
That's strike 2. One more, I'm taking your man card.
My man card? What was strike 1? Hey, B, I'm going to the bathroom. You coming?
What?
Come on. Together.
You're right.
Man up and choose a light beer with more taste. Grab a triple hops brewed Miller Lite with that great Pilsner taste.
Ladies' room? Phil, you coming?
Each of these photos was taken by someone on the first morning of their retirement. It's the first of more than 6,000 sunrises the average retiree will see. As we're living longer than ever before, Prudential's challenge is to help everyone have the retirement income they'll need to enjoy every one of their days. Prudential. Bring your challenges.
It's our weekend. Should we spend it wandering in some home improvement warehouse? No. Say we go to Ace. Yeah. Get help when we walk in the door. Because we will maintain our homes and our weekend. Yeah.
Get your weekend back at Ace, the helpful place.
Many will hear the calling.
Move it! Yes, sir!
Few will earn the title United States Marine. The few, the proud Marines. ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. And in part by Prudential. Prudential. Bring your challenges.
Now, this was seen last night in Lawrence Joel Coliseum here on campus at Wake Forest University. The Demon Deacons taking it to Ferrum College. Playing strong at both ends of the court. Look who was there. Chris Paul with his little man.
Shouldn't he be in?
Yeah.
For playing?
Yeah,
oh, wait, yeah, that's
they're
right.
talking that over in New York right now. But 82-43 winners last night over Ferrum College.
And Jim Grobe knows Ferrum College well.
How so?
The head coach of Wake Forest went to Ferrum Junior College before it switched over to a 4-year university and was inducted into their Hall of Fame in 2002.
You got it all, man. Your bucket's huge tonight. Jackson on the return. Finds a seam and has a little more. Action Jackson. All the way down to the 35. Well, Atkinson made a touchdown saving tackle.
Brian Kelly's special teams have been a little less than special this year, but when we talked to him earlier in the week, he said we're trending up in most things. And right now, Notre Dame came out offensively and got a little something going, but right now Notre Dame looks like they don't want to be here. Defensively, they look flat-footed. Pretty good blocking, but that's just a bunch of guys not getting off blocks in gold helmets for Notre Dame right now.
A 59-yard kickoff return and a power sweep. This is Chris Gibbons on the fly sweep. reverses his field and looks to pick up a couple of blocks. He's going to run about 30 yards and get a few. Gain of about 5 on the play. Well, Sunday NFL Countdown returns this season with a new start time and 3 hours with the best in the business. Berman, Jackson, Johnson, Ditka, Carter, Mortensen, Schefter, all providing news and updates from stadiums right up to kickoff. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. 2nd and 4. We get our first look at Josh Harris in the backfield beside the quarterback Tanner Price. And Harris takes the handoff. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Had a tough time last week. Initially injured that sore hamstring against Florida State and has been slowed ever since. Missed games against Virginia Tech and Duke, and then last week against North Carolina after the first couple of series took himself out of the game.
Jim Grobe yesterday when we were chatting with him said, if we can get a run game going against Notre Dame, I will have died and gone to heaven, because they know against a solid Notre Dame defense, it's playing so much better over the last 2 years under Bob Diaco's tutelage, that having that run game is going to be key to them being able to consistently move the ball.
We go on 3rd and 3. Harris gets another opportunity. Didn't get much help. Not much blocking up front. It was blown up early. And Stephon Tuitt, one of those 3 freshmen up front, makes the tackle, and it's 4th down.
And Tuitt doing a really nice job of coming inside his blocker. Talking to the coaches this week, they were saying that Tuitt sometimes does things on his own, and he'll make a big play or he'll get outside. That time I'm not so sure it was drawn up by the Irish for him to come inside, but he did and went unblocked and made a nice tackle.
Jimmy Newman, 14 of 15 on the season. This one coming from 46 yards out. And Newman has just enough leg, and it's good. So Wake Forest scoring on both its opening possessions and leading 10-3 here with 4:07 to go in the first quarter.
Newman has been so good this year. Had a shaky start against Syracuse, missed a chip shot, missed a PAT, but they were having some trouble with a young snapper, Logan Feemster, but they finally got their time down. He has not missed since the opening ball game.
There's a very distinctive formula here at Wake Forest University. Jim Grobe, their head coach, always redshirts those freshmen, and after a couple of down years, the last 2 years, they getting some valuable contributions from some of their juniors and seniors now.
And that was part of the problem. You know, the last 2 years they've been sub 500. It's because they didn't have good junior and senior classes. They had some attrition. They had some guys who didn't pan out. And because of the rebuilding that's going on under Brian Kelly, he's having to play some more true freshmen. But for Wake Forest, because of the consistency, Jim Grobe and his staff, they've been able to build a program where they don't have to really start counting on guys usually until their junior and senior year. Of course, Tanner Price last year, quarterback, had to come in, but that had a lot to do with why they ended up 3-9. Just not used to playing guys early here at Wake Forest.
Last time they kicked it away from Atkinson the third. This time it's going to be Collinsworth again. Took it out to the 45-yard line last time. This time stopped up at about the 35. They're looking for a flag on the face mask, perhaps.
Well, I think they may have gotten a late hit. No, I think you're right.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 35 of the kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
They did get a grab of Collinsworth's face mask, but didn't turn it. So. And it's close, but you know, that's one of the rules that the officials are told, call the close ones, because it's a safety issue. Collinsworth had given himself up, and even though it was really on the line of whether Allen was there late or not, as soon as he gave himself up, it's protecting a player who has given himself up. So don't mind those types of calls, although it's close. That's one thing the officials are told, is call the close ones.
First down and 10 from midfield. Jonas Gray with the handoff. And Gray has a first down. Gain of about 12 yards and a strong run from the senior, who's really had that light bulb come on in his career. Well, aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Folks, if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to go DirecTV. Look at BB&T Field here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Rees wide open. His tight end, Eifert, takes it in for the touchdown. And just like that, the Fighting Irish answer.
And that was a great read by T.Rees. The defensive backs came down on the short route to the receiver on that side. Rees looked that way, waited for Eifert to clear. The safety had come down. What a wonderful read by a young quarterback.
Eifert's 4th touchdown catch this season. And with that, we are tied at 10 apiece. He's a bit of a mismatch, isn't he, Ed?
Watch the quarterback. Rees looks to the outside, and the safety had gotten spun around Josh Bush. Good eyes by the quarterback.
You're watching College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
ESPN Films presents Roll Tide, War Eagle, Tuesday at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
It works with people. It works with cars. The newly refined Acura TL. Aggression in its most elegant form.
John Hancock Mutual Funds. Visit jhfunds.com.
Rated M for mature.
They're coming!
Whoa, that's not a Miller Lite.
Oh, light beer is light beer.
No, Miller Lite has more taste.
That's strike 2. One more, I'm taking your man card.
My man card? What was strike 1? Hey, B, you going to the bathroom. You coming?
What?
Come on. Together.
You're right.
Man up and choose Miller Lite. We add hops not once, not twice, but 3 times. Brewed for that great Pilsner taste.
Ladies' room? Phil, you coming?
Want to know the difference between a trader and an elite trader? It's this.
The E-Trade Pro platform. Fast, beautiful, totally customizable. Finds top performing stocks in 3 clicks. Quickly scans the market for new trading ideas. It can even match option strategies to your goals and lets you see the potential risk and reward. And it also comes with a dedicated elite service team. Got it? Get it? Good. Introducing new E-Trade Pro Elite.
Welcome back, everyone, and let's take a look now at our game summary brought to you by Pacific Life. Both teams moving the ball very well offensively, Ed. 10 points on the board.
And one side of the ball for Notre Dame came to play. Now let's see if their defense rises up a little bit and their special teams rises up a little bit, because right now the offense, 2 drives, 2 scores, and that last one, what a nice job by Rees. He saw the safety turn and bail, and because Floyd gets so much attention on that side, just patiently waited for Eifert to come free.
Well, Jackson had a great kickoff return last time he got his hands on the ball. This time he takes it again at about the 7. And Jackson out to the 27. Let's go back to Robert Flores in our studio.
All right, Mark, Taco Bell studio update. Number 14 K-State visiting number 3 Oklahoma State. First meeting when both teams are ranked in the history of the series. Brandon Whedon to Justin Blackman, and Oklahoma State is leading 14-0. LSU and Alabama scoreless. Alabama lining up for a 50-yard field goal after the timeout.
All right, Robert, back here. First down and 10 from the 27 for Wake Forest. Pass incomplete. Cameron Ford had it in his hands and dropped the pass from Price. Take a look at the size of these respective institutions. Not exactly huge schools, especially when you look at Wake Forest enrollment of just over 4,500. And Notre Dame's under 10,000 as well. Their football programs starting up within a year of each other, dating all the way back to 1887. This is the first meeting between these two teams. This is Campanero with a first down out to the 41-yard line. First down and 10 for the Demon Deacons. Got a nice block up front from Danny Dembry and Terrence Davis.
Campanero, a guy who's really good in the open field. Had a couple of drops last week against North Carolina. Playing with some confidence tonight, but that time he put a good move on Jamora Slaughter, who should have had him inside the sticks, but picks up an extra 8 or 10 after he puts the move on it.
Brandon Pendergrass back in the backfield. Pendergrass takes the handoff. And his forward progress may be giving him about 2 yards. Stopped up there by Darius Fleming. Fleming, arguably the most improved player defensively for defensive coordinator Bob Diaco this year. The senior has a lot better strength, did a great job in the weight room over the summertime, and his fundamentals also coming around. Sets up a 2nd down and 8. They set up the screen. It's complete to Pendergrass and puts his hat down and powers forward for the first down. A determined bit of running by Pendergrass, who's finally brought down by Robert Blanton.
And this screen works because of a nice job by Doug Weaver, the right tackle. Watch as this thing gets started late, and it looks like it's not going to go anywhere, but Weaver does a really nice job of picking up the block on Aaron Lynch, the defensive end of that side, but he stayed with it. If he doesn't get that block, that's probably a tackle for a loss by Lynch.
On Notre Dame side of midfield, a handoff to Pendergrass again, running between the tackles down to the 43-yard line where Lewis Nix makes the stop. You know, last week Pendergrass had a nice day rushing, 13 carries for a total of 99 yards, and making the most of his opportunity in the absence of Josh Harris.
They're looking to try to get a second back going with Josh Harris. Whether he's going to be able to go full speed, they may have to pull the red shirt off a young man, Orville Reynolds, because you just can't ask Pendergrass to be your only guy who can carry the ball.
Gets the carry again. Nice cutback, but slipped and tripped. Falling forward to about the 42-yard line. It'll be a couple of yards short. It'll be 3rd and about 2 to go for the Demon Deeks.
And this is where Steve Lobotsky, the offensive coordinator for Wake Forest, loves to take a shot. You're in 4-down territory. You're outside of the range of your kicker. So if you're Notre Dame, do not be surprised if they try to throw one over your head here.
Most of the time that means Chris Givens split to the top of your screen. Matched up against Gray. Pass incomplete behind Campanero, who had his hands on it. And it sets up a 4th down and 3. Decision time here. What do you do if you're Jim Grobe?
Well, Tanner Price just came walking off the field, not even interested in going for it on 4th down. I'm surprised, because I think this is a territory where you think about it. And looks like they're going to send their punt unit out, but Price just immediately came off the field. If it were 4th and 1, I think you'd go. But you're in a little bit of a slugfest. I think Jim Grove's making the right decision here to punt this away.
Wolfeck standing at his own 44-yard line. Rolls out and then just booms one. Oh, and Wake Forest going to down this inside the 5-yard line. All part of the game plan, I guess. Just the way Jim Grove drew it up. What he didn't draw up was the fortunes of Josh Harris's tailback, and this was the scene pregame, trying to get loose, trying to work that injured hamstring and get it loose. And then a few moments later comes out and I'm not sure about the trunk wide open in the back, and the uniform half on, half off, but so far not able to give his team that much.
And he's a guy who, as the coach was saying, a lot of guys hamstring, 90% they can go, but Harris just one of those guys with that hamstring not quite there. If he's not feeling it, like last week against UNC, actually pulled himself out of the game. So coaches, you could sense just a little frustration. Is he going to be able to help us?
First down and 10 coming back the other way for Notre Dame. Handoff. This is the first carry for Wood, and Sierra Wood gets the first down, gain of about 12 on the play. He's the team's leading rusher, averaging 5.6 yards per carry.
And you look at what Notre Dame can do offensively because they have two productive backs. With Wood and Gray, you can go 1-2, 1-2 with those guys. And you look why Wake Forest, a team struggling running the ball, because right now they're only able to rely on one guy. Such a luxury to have two productive backs like Notre Dame does.
Well, for the Golden Domers, it's been a tumultuous couple of weeks with some inner turbulence. Some comments made by their head coach Brian Kelly a couple of weeks ago. Wake Forest, meanwhile, right in the mix. 10-10. Second quarter coming up. Quarter. Here were some of the comments I was alluding to before we went to break. Brian Kelly had this to say: you can see the players I recruited. We've had one class, and those were some divisive remarks, or at least interpreted that way by some of his players, and it caused a flurry of activity in the social media. Some of the Notre Dame players actually tweeting responses to the coach's comments, and it proved to be a very combustible situation. Ed, he said, hey, it's like a family. Have some bad days, you work it out.
Yeah, and I know everybody's saying the right thing coming out of the meeting they had last week on Friday before the Navy game, but that was really a huge misstep by Brian Kelly. There are ways to motivate players. That's not one of them, to create a divide amongst your players. And of course, it wasn't in that meeting, so, and everyone said he made a sincere apology to his players, but I was shocked when I saw those comments made by Brian Kelly. Again, I think that was a big misstep by him here in his second year at Notre Dame.
A player injured down in the field. It's number 52, Braxton Cave. Mike Golick Jr. is the backup center, the son of one of our co-workers who we had a chance to visit with a little bit earlier here in the booth. Mike Golick, former player at Notre Dame. There's a look at Cave being tended to. But back to the comments that Brian Kelly made prior to the Navy game last week. They had a meeting afterwards and they cleared the air, and that win against Navy last week actually answered some of the questions as to how they would respond moving forward.
And in fairness, Navy was down their starting quarterback, and I don't want to take away, because last year Notre Dame looked awful against Navy, so there looks to be improvement. But you know, to call out players from the previous regime, if anything, you've got to do the opposite of that. And I think it's worth pointing out, a lot of the players that are left over from Charlie Weiss's era are going to go make a lot of money playing in the NFL. M.Floyd, Manti Te'o. So to call it out not only can cause divide, but frankly, it's not really true. Some of these players from Charlie Weiss are recruited by Charlie Weiss, pretty good players.
And a doting father watching from the sidelines. Mike Golick, former player at Notre Dame and Philadelphia Eagles, all-pro.
First snap's always the hardest.
See how they handle it here. Reese hands it off to Sierra Wood. A gaping, yawning hole up the middle and a first down out by the 30, where Kenny Okoro makes the tackle.
And let's check out how Mike Golick Jr. did on his first play in. He's going to do a back block, turning to his left. Post up. Nice job. Excellent job on a very good nose guard, Nikita Whitlock, who's a quick guy. Whitlock was slanting that way, and Mike Golick Jr. did a good job walling him off.
Mike going to slide him the evaluation at halftime, no doubt. This is Sierra Wood. Cuts it back nicely, and Wood with another good gain. Let's check in with Robert Flores back in the studio.
All right, Mark. Well, Kansas State spotted Oklahoma State 14 points before they erupt for 10 points. Angelo P's 5-yard score, and they have cut it to a 14-10 deficit at the end of the first quarter in Stillwater. LSU and Alabama still scoreless. Tide have missed 2 field goals.
All right, Robert, back here, second down and 4. Wood sets in the backfield and takes the handoff again. And stopped up close to the first down. Let's get back to what Robert was talking about a little bit there. Oklahoma State sitting in a pretty nice position right now. When you look at the loser of this Alabama LSU game, do they not get another shot? And then you've got Oklahoma State.
If Oklahoma State were to win out, I don't see there's any way that Alabama or LSU, whichever one loses if they go undefeated, gets in there.
3rd and 1, and Reese gets the first down. So you think Oklahoma State has a realistic chance of playing for the national championship?
Let's not forget, at the end of the season, they'll be playing Oklahoma, who will creep back in slowly if they continue to win. Good win today against Texas A&M. They'll continue to creep in, so they would have a big quality win at the end of the season.
First down and 10. Tommy Reese, the quarterback, a young man who grew up going to the Rose Bowl and watching Rose Bowl games. His father, a coach at UCLA. This is Sierra Wood, who takes his handoff and picks up about 3 yards on the play. Well, with the win last weekend, Tony Stewart surged to within 8 points of the lead, putting the pressure on Carl Edwards as they battle it out for the championship. With just 3 races remaining, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Texas. And coverage begins on ESPN Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. 2nd down and 7. Reese completes it to Wood. And Wood has another first down and then some deep into the territory of Wake Forest, and Wood getting up slow. Top of the hour. First meeting between Notre Dame and Wake Forest, a couple of programs that date back to 1888 and 1889 respectively. A bowl eligibility berth on the line, and each team needing a win to get to number 6. Jim Grove's team struggling the last couple of years, 3-9 and then 5-7. Jonas Gray with a straight arm, but brought down at the line of scrimmage. Good tackle that time made by Mike Olson, number 41.
Jonas Gray, a young man who first game of the season against USF had a fumble that was returned for a touchdown down inside the 5-yard line. A guy who had struggled with fumbles earlier in his career, came in with just over 300 yards rushing, and Brian Kelly sat him down and just challenged him, said, what do you want to be remembered for here at Notre Dame? And give him a lot of credit. It's not that Sierra Wood has played poorly, it's that this young man has stepped up his game, and he's admitted, I am running harder than I've ever run.
On 2nd and 10, looking downfield, and incomplete, intended for Eifert. Eifert already has a touchdown catch earlier, and getting back to Gray, number 25, the tailback, you know, he's averaging about 8 yards per carry, which is just a little bit shy of the legendary George Gibbs Notre Dame record. They asked him about it. He said, I know a little bit about him, but not a lot. I know there was a movie made about him. That was about it, but I'm not sure if he got Rudy and any of those other legends
no, he knew
mixed up.
He knew win one for the Gipper. he knew that.
11th play of the drive. On 3rd and 10. Going for Floyd. He catches it, but he's out of bounds. Incomplete. Kenny Okoro there, who was all freshman All-American a couple of years ago. Good coverage. And 4th down coming up for Notre Dame. What do you do here with the ball spotted right around the 39? One more look.
Well, you're in a tweener distance, but look at this coverage by Okoro. He was right on top of Floyd the whole way. And here, going for it on 4th down, I like this call by Kelly. Perhaps a screen, because you're in that tweener distance where if you punt it, you don't gain much yardage. So I don't mind them going for it on 4th here.
Reese out of the shotgun. He's going to pooch punt it. Oh, he hit that one like a 9-iron, but might have used a little bit more club on that to get it a little further down inside the 10. 10:20 to go in the first half. 10's on the board when we come back to Winston-Salem.
Welcome back to College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
You put a lot of effort into creating the perfect evening. So we put a lot of effort into creating the perfect tortilla chip. Introducing Tostitos Artisan Recipes. Made with real ingredients cooked right in for flavor you can see and taste in every bite. Because when we put in the very best, what you end up with only gets better. Experience Tostitos Artisan Recipes.
Peace of mind of owning a 2011 IIHS top safety pick, the all-new Volkswagen Passat.
There's a place where basketball still means something, where the game is all that matters. In this place, we take care of our own, because we know we can't survive without each other. Here, work ethic has swagger. Here, reputation is earned, and false pretense has its throat cut. Under Armour, are you from here?
Thanks to Watch ESPN, we never miss any live games or our favorite ESPN shows. I taught him that.
WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. The ESPN networks, live anywhere.
10:20 to go in the first half. Mark Jones along with Ed Cunningham here in Winston-Salem. 10's on the board between Wake Forest and Notre Dame. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. What are the FBS schools with 2 words that do not have their city or a state in their names? Producer Kim Belton.
Notre Dame and Wake Forest.
That's, yeah.
My 2 guesses.
FBS. Put my 5 years of college to use here. 1st and 10. And off to Pendergrass. Pardon me, that was Josh Harris back in the ball game. It was interesting. They chronicled him trying to get back to 100%. Said that last week before the North Carolina game, he never really turned it loose in practice to see if he could get that hamstring firing. But this week, they did.
Jim Grobe needed to see that. He said, I can't let him not go 100% during the week. We have to be aware of what we can have on the week on Saturday.
That pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Let's check in with Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Mark, number 1 update with fall, and number 2 second quarter.
Well, kicking game having a little problem for the Crimson Tide. 3rd and 10 coming up for Wake Forest here. Price is going to run it. Has a ton of room with the first down and a head-first slide and dive across the 30, lunging for the first at the 31, a 13-yard gain.
And this is something that Jim Grobe and his staff have been working on with Tanner Price, because he is so pocket-minded, just wants to stay in the pocket, find the open receiver. But he is a good runner. He has good speed. His senior year in high school, he ran for over 1,100 yards, so pretty good. And they said if that lane opens, take the 10 or 15. Good job that time by Price.
Backs line up out of the eye, and they run it to the left side of that offensive line. Josh Harris with a 2-yard gain. You know, getting back to Tanner Price, they talked about his progression as a quarterback, as a true sophomore this year. He played in so many different types of offenses and systems. Now really getting traction, right?
Last year when he came in, the offense was really built around Ted Stakaitis, who was more of a running option type of quarterback. And so last year they started to switch the offense a little bit, more gun, more spread, which is what he played in high school. And now he's had an entire year under his belt in an offense that's more tuned to his skill.
2nd and 8. Harris again, still looking to see that burst. Got about 4. It'll be 3rd down, about 4 to go. Well, ABC Tuesday is the new night for big laughs with Tuesday's #1 new comedy, Last Man Standing. Tim Allen is a man among women, a lot of women, raising 3 daughters. Good luck with that. ABC's Last Man Standing all Tuesday, 8, 7 Central on ABC. 3rd down and 3 for the Demon Deacons. Nice move to elude trouble, and incomplete. A good hit on the play by Gray, the DB, who came up to jar the ball loose. And it's 4th and 3.
That was a nice hit by Gray, but this is one that the quarterback should pull down and run for a 1st down. When he breaks the pocket, there is room to pick it up. He'll have to fight for it, but there's no reason to flip this ball back across. He easily picks up the 1st down, and so when they go into film study with this young quarterback, they'll say there's no reason to throw that ball. Tuck it, pick up the 1st down, and let's move the chains.
Wolfick with his 2nd punt of the night. Goodman back deep. Here's that rugby-style punt. Flag down on the field. The ball bouncing at the 30 and going out of bounds. There's 7.5 minutes to go here in the 1st half. A 33-yard punt, nothing on the return. After both teams got off to a great start offensively, here in the 2nd quarter, they've slowed a little bit.
Illegal shift on the kicking team. 2-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
That's actually a big deal for Notre Dame. They're the worst punt return team in the country, so a 5-yard penalty doesn't go on their average, but it would have upped their average.
Peace of mind of owning a 2011 IIHS top safety pick, the all-new Volkswagen Passat.
Were you eating smoked sausage in here?
No.
Could have gotten me one.
I did.
Try the unmistakable flavor of Dunkin's new Smokehouse Sausage Breakfast Sandwich with sausage from Hillshire Farm. America runs on Dunkin'.
Assassin's Creed Revelation, signature revelation. You get more bombs, they look like coconuts, but they're not their bombs. You also get an Ottoman Jester for multiplayer acrobatic, just a swan dive, tackle face. Get a bonus mission and unlock Vlad the Impaler Sword. Slow walk up with Vlad the Impaler Sword.
Get a free upgrade to the Signature Edition when you pre-order Assassin's Creed Revelations at GameStop.
Power to the players, rated M for mature.
It's the LensCrafters Holiday Clearance Sale. Save 50% off clearance eyeglasses and sunglasses made with your prescription. The glasses you love at 50% off clearance. Hurry in, LensCrafters.
The weather is seasonal. Life isn't. Introducing the all-new, all-affordable, all-season class leader, Extra 4X. Receive a $50 rebate at KumoTireUSA.com. Let's go.
ESPN Films presents Roll Tide, War Eagle, Tuesday at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. And Volkswagen, the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto.
Welcome back, everyone, to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, as we revisit our Aflac trivia question. We'll give you the answer after this play. Give you a couple more minutes to...
I've got some more guesses. Brigham Young.
I'm blank.
Air Force.
Well, that's going to be a loss by Sierra Wood of about 3 or 4 on the play. Nice play by Mike Olson. Well, there's the question once again. Yeah, we came up with Brigham Young during the break. Southern Methodist.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Air Force.
Yeah.
But technically, like you said, it's Air Force Academy, right?
Yeah, well, but it's Notre Dame University,
Okay.
so I think I think our producer's stretching a little bit. That's just me.
Yeah. We'll call him out on that. 2nd and 16. There's a handoff. And Wood driving forward to the 39-yard line. Wilbur making the stop. It's a gain of 10 on the play.
Wood and Gray, if you could decide as an offensive coach what type of backs you wanted, if you had a 1-2 back, I think that Wood and Gray are exactly what you'd want. Wood, kind of the smaller, explosive slasher, and Gray, the bigger kind of pounder. And I think that's why Notre Dame's been so good offensively this year, being able to get the diversity of those two backs.
Junior and a senior getting the job done in the backfield. Reese getting it done with his arm that time, but short of the first down by about a yard. Floyd makes the stop, working against Kenny Okoro. A gain of 6. It'll be 4th and short. As you look at that north end zone area, kind of a cool mosaic and a blend of different colors.
And Floyd made an error there. He's got to run that far enough by the sticks so that when he comes back, he's still beyond the yardage. Brian Kelly was talking to him and Reese as they came off the last time when they tried that long throw, talking about the route and how he ran it. And that, to me, looked like a mistake by Floyd. Didn't run that at the proper depth to pick up the first down.
Ben Turk at his own 30 to punt. Jackson going to try and run this one down and actually watch it bounce at the 22-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for the Demon Deacs. Jackson picked it up, and not sure about the wisdom of doing that, but it's still their ball. That's where Price will take the reins of the offense when we come back.
This is College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
You didn't get a Miller Lite?
No. What's the difference?
Miller Lite has more taste.
I don't care. I just got one of these.
That's the second unmanly thing you've done today.
It was the first.
Okay. Don't look down. Just don't look down. Guys!
That wasn't manly.
Man up and choose Miller Lite. We add hops not once, not twice, but 3 times. Brewed for that great Pilsner taste.
So your friends tell me you climb.
I do climb.
People really love Snapshot from Progressive. But don't just listen to me. Listen to these happy Progressive customers.
I plugged in Snapshot, and 30 days later, I was saving big on car insurance.
I was worried it would be hard to install, but it's really easy.
The better I drive, the more I save.
I wish our company had something this cool.
Yeah.
You're not filming this, are you?
Aw, camera shy. Snapshot from Progressive.
Plug into the savings you deserve with Snapshot from Progressive.
ABC's Happy Endings.
Going down.
All new Wednesday on ABC.
So, you didn't get a Miller Lite?
No, what's the difference?
Miller Lite has more taste.
I don't care. I just got one of these.
Well, that's the second unmanly thing you've done today.
What was the first?
Hey guys! I'm on a scooter!
That was unmanly.
Man up and choose Miller Lite. We add hops not once, not twice, but 3 times. Brewed for that great Pilsner taste.
Hey, Ricky!
We ride together. What's up?
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
Can I buy you a drink?
No.
You say no a lot, don't you?
No.
Oh, boy.
You want to rent the best romantic comedy of the year.
I slept with someone. Oh my God!
But it's not in your mailbox yet, and it's not in those vending machines yet.
What do you want to do with me?
I want to show you off to my ex-wife and make her really jealous.
So grab your remote
Seriously? It's like you're photoshopped.
and rent Crazy Stupid Love now on DirecTV Cinema. Movies start on Channel 125.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's take a look now at our game summary brought to you by Pacific Life. Pendergrass, a key part of the offense early in the game and often scoring the game's first touchdown on that pass out of the backfield. And then Tyler Eifert, the tight end, wide open downfield to answer for Notre Dame. And we are tied at 10 apiece. Wake Forest with the ball, 1st and 10 from their own 19. Brandon Pendergrass back in the ball game for Josh Harris. Underneath, and this is Givens with room to spare. And Givens picks up about 14 on the play. First down and 10.
And this is something that Steve Labotsky, the offensive coordinator, loves to call is the drag route. They ran it a ton against North Carolina last week, and the linebackers have got to continue to push up. But with that type of speed, you think Givens is a guy that you'd want to run down the field a lot, but they get him involved underneath routes and screens very well.
There's Pendergrass and good support from the corner. Coming up, it's Blanton making the stop. Good tackling that time. That's going to be a little bit of a loss.
It was a nice job by Blanton fighting off the wide receiver that came down to block him, number 81, Terrence Davis. Blanton, good size for a corner at 6'1", 200 pounds. Of course, they're used to seeing that option from last week against Navy, so they had that practice up for when Wake Forest is going to run it.
He got back to the line of scrimmage, second down and 10. Here's the reverse. Givens. The turbo kicked in, and he got enough for the first down. Great run by Givens as we check in with Robert Flores back in the studio.
All right, Mark, Kansas State pressed the reset button. After giving up 14 points to Oklahoma State to open the game, they've now scored 24 unanswered. Daniel Chapman goes 59 yards after the pick six as he intercepts Brandon Whedon, and K-State is up 10 on the road. Meantime, LSU and Alabama scoreless. Tide have missed 3 field goals, but they're driving now in Tiger territory.
All right, Robert, back here. Aaron Lynch limping off to the sidelines for Notre Dame. One of those 3 freshmen that starts up front on the defensive line. First down and 10 after that nice run by Givens. That pass complete to the tight end Parker, and Andrew Parker with his first reception, and a dart thrown by Tanner Price.
And this is a big deal for Notre Dame if Aaron Lynch is out of this game. Watch as he goes. Oh, he just twisted that left ankle, because remember, Capron Lewis Moore, defensive end, veteran, out for the year with a knee injury. And Ethan Johnson, high ankle sprain. Not even sure if we're going to see him tonight. So body's going down even more in this defensive front for Notre Dame.
Pendergrass stopped up. Nice tackle by the nose guard Lewis Nix. That plays with a great motor. Gain of 3 on the play.
The other thing this does, if you're Bob Diaco, is on regular downs, it's hard to get into that 4-man front. You can get into a 4-man front on long downs, on second and long, third and long, because you have your outside linebackers that you can put down. You use them as defensive ends anyway, but now limited just a little bit on what you can do.
Second and 7. Harris in the ball game. And Harris gains about 3 on the play. Folks, remember, aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta go DirecTV. Great shot from up high.
And if I'm Steve Labotsky, the offensive coordinator for Wake Forest, you know you've got 3rd and 3 here, but it feels like a rundown because the defensive line's so thin for Notre Dame right now. And they're going to start tiring out as well. And right now they have Steve Filer, who's a linebacker with his hand on the ground in their 3-4 defense at left defensive end.
Price pulls it down, and he runs for the first down. Out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Eddie may have heard you after last time passing it, tucks it under, and makes a nice play.
And I think as this game starts to move along, this defensive line is going to start wearing out. Excellent job that time by Garrick Williams, the center, who was blocking one-on-one against Lewis Nix, the nose guard. But Williams did a nice job keeping his hands inside, and the nose guard Nix was not able to come off and make that tackle as Price ran by him.
First and 10 from the 25. Little bubble screen. Givens weaving down to the 21-yard line. Interesting about Givens, as fast and explosive as he is right now, and a lethal weapon offensively, you go back to his high school days. He tore his ACL in his knee as a junior, got healthy, came back and did the same thing early in his senior year. And this is the other receiver, Campanero, gets the first down. But getting back to Givens, interesting that, you know, the Wake Forest coaches say we can afford to take a chance on a guy like that because he worked hard to come back and it was worth the risk.
And if he doesn't tear his ACL probably before his senior year, he's from Texas, he probably stays in state at Texas Tech. He's a great fit there, but because of that second tear, he gets to Wake Forest, and a guy who's really improved his work ethic too.
Notre Dame calling timeout with a little over a minute to go. First down and 10 for Wake Forest. Brian Kelly's defense backed up a little bit right now. Jim Grove's team looking to make its next move when we come back.
Agents, I don't know if you've heard, but our training organization was recently named the best in the world. Nice little pat on the back.
Intended receiver, number 22, Harrison Smith, in on the coverage, had his hands all over him.
And that ball's uncatchable.
Yeah.
Unless they call, you've got to wave this off. The ball was thrown 5 yards out of bounds. There's no receiver in the world that can make that catch.
Calvin Johnson doesn't make that catch.
Yeah, this ball's uncatchable. It is pass interference right there. The ball's in the air, but that ball was going out of bounds. I think another official needs to come over and wave that off.
That is that's not even close.
Yeah. Manute Bowles not catching that ball.
That was the first Notre Dame penalty all game. Givens in motion to the top of the screen. Pendergrass. Got about a yard. It'll be second down and goal.
And now be careful with the clock if you're Wake Forest. Don't let this burn down too much. Remember, any type of penalty on the defense is going to be an automatic first down. So you've got your they should have taken a timeout here. I'm not quite sure. This is bad clock management by Wake Forest. Yeah. Boy, that was bad. They lost almost 20 seconds after the end of that play.
Pendergrass with some kind of issue or problem has to come out. Back with more after this. At his best, but enough to get the touchdown run a moment ago.
That's tough to do against Notre Dame. That's only the 5th rushing touchdown of the year. They were second in the nation coming into this weekend behind Alabama, who'd only given up 2.
Wake Forest has been kicking away from George Atkinson III tonight.
I think you might see one squibbed across the ground here.
That's exactly what it is, but it goes to Atkinson III. Runs it straight ahead beyond the 40.
And now, because of beyond the 40 with 2 timeouts, you've got a chance here if you're Notre Dame. You figure 4 to 10 seconds per play depending on what happens. So there's 3, maybe 4 plays in here. You get something near the sideline, step out of bounds, or you can work the middle of the field. Just make sure Rees knows to get the timeout the very second. Even if you get the first down, I think you still have to use one of those 2 timeouts because the clock stops pretty quick when the change down.
22 seconds to work with. This is usually M.Floyd time. He's been conspicuous by his silence so far. That pass incomplete. Intended for number 6, Theo Riddick. And are you surprised by the job they've done on Floyd tonight? It started off with a lot of yapping between him and the DBs.
The coverage tonight by Wake Forest, except for T.Eifert down the middle, has been spectacular on Floyd. They've been physical with him. They've had safeties working over to his side. And even that time, where Brian Kelly was trying to set up a little bit of a fake route to the outside and then up for a long throw, was covered perfectly.
Floyd with just 1 catch for 6 yards tonight. Rees up top, and intercepted. Josh Bush was playing center field on that one and got the pick with 8 seconds to go. The pass was going to Jones, and Brian Kelly with a look of bewilderment and puzzlement on the face, looking at Tommy Rees.
And what Brian Kelly is telling him is that was cover 3, which means there's a safety in the dead middle of the field. You can see the safety backing out there, Josh Bush. And it's like Rees didn't know what the coverage was. So that's exactly what Brian Kelly is telling him. He's holding up 3 fingers. It's cover 3, meaning there's 3 deep. Yeah, you can see the corner bailing out Okuro, which means there's 3 guys deep. So Kelly talking to his quarterback saying you've got to see with 3 deep, you just can't throw that ball up.
But that look on Brian Kelly's face a lot different than the one earlier this year when T.J. Jones went to the sideline, and he got a different type of Brian Kelly, one which was much more irate. That's the end of the first half. We get ready for the third quarter. It's the ACC on ESPN here from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. BB&T Field. Wake Forest leading Notre Dame 17-10 in the first meeting ever between these two teams. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones along with Ed Cunningham. Thanks for coming aboard. That other game, a much lower scoring game than ours tonight. 3-3.
Which other game?
I'm not sure.
What you're referring
there's
to.
another big one going on right now somewhere in the country. But Ed, what jumps off the page at you from the first half?
It's the fact that Notre Dame, we talked about as we were coming on the air, their defensive line and their down numbers. And right now, Wake Forest, with a bunch of movement, Bob Diaco, the defense coordinator, was worried about, they played Navy last week, which is assignment ball. You've got the pitch man, you've got the dive man. But now, with a diverse offense, and now with Lynch maybe hurt, this could be a tough second half going against Wake Forest. So you talk about adjustments. I'm not sure what adjustments Notre Dame can make when they're down so many men up front on their defensive line.
A couple of teams trying to become bowl eligible with a win tonight as we take a look at our Southwest Airlines playbook.
Well, this was the interception by Tommy Rees. And he was expecting to see cover 2 coverage, which means 2 deep safeties where you can split that with the post route to Jones. But it was not. It was cover 3, which means there's a middle deep safety. And you can see Brian Kelly when Rees comes over and says that's cover 3, meaning you can't throw that post. You have to come down to something underneath. With 3 deep people, a lot of times you'll have something underneath that you can come to. But that was just a mistake by Rees in reading the coverage.
It'll be Notre Dame football to begin the third quarter here. Atkinson finally getting a chance to return a kickoff. He has 2 for touchdowns this year, and he tiptoes out to the 38-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for Tommy Rees, quarterback for Notre Dame. And Rees doing a nice job this year. So says his head coach, Brian Kelly, getting them into and out of the right plays. Hasn't given up a sack in a while.
And with your defense struggling a little bit, and you're down some numbers, and you have a nose guard in Nix who still has some weight on him that they'd like to get off and get him in a little better shape. I think you're going to see maybe a little more run, a little more clock management here in the second half for Notre Dame.
Rees fires a strike to Eifert, his tight end. Eifert with the first down. He had the only touchdown of the first half for Notre Dame, a 16-yard gain. Going a little bit quick here on offense. Rees. It's caught. What a catch by T.J. Jones, who was submarined and landed really hard by Noel. There's Noel with the hit. He went up high and landed on his back there.
A high throw by Rees, and boy, Jones landed right on that right shoulder and his head.
He did a fine job to hang on to the football.
And he looks wobbly. Not shocked at how high he was up and as hard as his head hit the ground. Clean play by Noel, just going to make the tackle. classy move there by defensive coordinator Brian Knorr, coming over to see if he was okay. And they're going to review to see if that ball did move a little bit as Jones came down. But see if that ball moves. Unfortunately for Jones, that looks like an incomplete pass. When he hit the ground, the ball moved. The ball can hit the ground.
Looked like he had his arm underneath it, though.
But when that ball juggles when you hit the ground, it's an incomplete pass. You have to control it through the landing. And it's a shame the young man got hurt, and I think they're going to overrule this and call this an incomplete pass.
You were the one that did the referee seminar.
Well, and you saw this today in the Michigan-Iowa game at the end of the game. Yeah, that ball moved slightly, so this should be overruled and made incomplete. So ball thrown high by Reese, and as you get more experience, become a little more accurate. You don't want to be leaving your receivers when defensive backs are closing, especially a guy like Noel, who's so good at breaking on the ball.
I remember the quotes of the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Second down.
Yeah,
they're going to hold it.
That means they didn't have indisputable video evidence, but it looked to me like that ball move. That should have been an incomplete call.
You speak of that high throw by Reese. I remember Coach McKay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, asked why Doug Williams' completion percentage was so low. He says, yeah, I don't have Doug throw those passes where you carry my tailback and receiver off the field with his neck pointing the wrong way. You know, it's a skill you learn to, as you alluded to, throw the ball where it's supposed to be caught. Not hanging your guy out, but there's Jones on the sidelines now. Second down and 4 after his reception. This is Gray. Broke a tackle, breaks another one. And Jonas Gray with a spirited run down to the 25 before Joey Ehrman finally brings him down, but not before a pickup of 14.
What a nice run by Gray. Just such a great story, the way he's bounced back from really a tough career, a tough beginning of the season. Watch how he finishes this run now. Picks his knees up.
Notre Dame down by 7. Gray again on the sweep. Hits the edge and a lot more. Touchdown. Jonas Gray turned it loose and got in for the score.
Little bit of a mistake by Quarles, the safety. He ducks underneath instead of going over the top, and what an excellent block downfield by John Goodman. Drove his man right out of the play, Okura. And they're going to review on
prior plays under further review
whether Gray got in or not. Looked to me like he did.
Like his backside landed right on that line.
What a block by Goodman downfield, though. Hands inside. Just overpowered. See where he lands and see where that ball is. Not down, not down. Touchdown. It might be a skosh on the other side of the line, but because of that angle, it is not indisputable video evidence. So here's a nice look at it. Again, that is not indisputable video evidence. So a nice high look at it. I think the ball crossed the plane, but again, if upstairs they cannot tell whether the ball crossed the plane or not. His left elbow was certainly hitting the ground right there, but it's impossible to tell whether the ball had broken the plane. So I will be shocked if they don't let this stand, and if not, it'll be first and goal on the 2-inch line.
Well, the ruling on the field is that It's a touchdown, and there must be indisputable video evidence
After
to
further
overturn
review,
it.
the runner's left elbow was down before the ball crossed the plane of the goal line.
No, that's two replays in a row that I disagree with. I think it was an incomplete pass to Jones. It looked to me like that ball hit the ground, and to me, there was no angle that clearly showed the ball did not cross the plane. So I'm calling the guys upstairs 0 for 2 on this drive.
Well, it's 1st and goal.
And now there's a little bit of confusion. I'm not sure Reese knows what play is supposed to be run here. I can't believe it'd be anything but Gray up the middle.
Gray the lone back. Reese tries to keep it himself. Not sure that he got in. They're going to mark it shy of the end zone by about a foot. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Appeared to be a little disconcerted up front.
Yeah, that was confusion right from the start. Not much push by this offensive line, but here they go again. Just do the same thing. Either a quarterback sneak or Gray.
Reese tosses it to Gray, who will waltz into the end zone. Ran it 8 yards deep just to make sure. And with that, Notre Dame a point away from knotting this game up at 17. Gray with his 9th rushing touchdown of this season and the 9th of his career.
And I think Brian Kelly, who acts obviously as the play caller for Notre Dame, was tired of seeing all those bodies inside for Wake Forest and said, let's get that big body outside.
Tied at 17, just under 13 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter of play. A couple of teams looking to become bowl eligible. The shine on those helmets a little brighter after that last run.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but if ain't one, I got the rap patrol on the cat patrol. Foes that want to make sure my cast is closed. Rap critics that say he's money cat.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the ACC on ESPN, tied at 17. Just underway here in the 3rd quarter. Amanda Bowers, folks, a senior studio art major from Maui, Hawaii. She received the Presidential Scholarship for Art at Wake Forest. Last September, she was in France and worked as a copyist at the Louvre. Many talented students here on campus at Wake Forest University.
Have you ever been to the Louvre and seen the
Yes,
copyist?
I have. Yes, I have.
Really, first time I walked in, I'm like, what are those guys? And it's just a lot of people go in there to study the art, and they actually copy it. It's pretty cool.
She helped us with our scene set earlier tonight. And Notre Dame, good coverage that time on special teams.
Going back to that review, and I was making light that it would be 1st and goal at the 5-inch line when they overturned the touchdown by Gray, but I would imagine that Brian Kelly's heart was in his throat with what's been happening this season at the goal line. Of course, the fumble return for a touchdown against South Florida beginning of the year, and then it happened the almost identical thing. Dane Chris fumbled a snap against USC. Both of those returned close to 100 yards for touchdowns. So I would imagine for Kelly, those were tense moments there.
See how Wake Forest responds here. Their opening possession of the 3rd quarter, not too good on 1st and 10. A sack on the play by Aaron Lynch, who was in there. Remember, Lynch was shaken up towards the end of the 1st half. Limped off the field, but came back. And apparently all right.
Good job. Inside stunt by the defensive line of Notre Dame. And Lynch looking like he's moving okay. When he came back out after that ankle before, he looked a little gimpy, but now he seems like he's okay.
Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. Pendergrass brought down at the 22-yard line. Join Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit and Craig James for BCS Countdown Sunday night as they unveil the latest BCS polls and analyze who are the contenders and pretenders. BCS Countdown presented by Allstate on ESPNU Sunday 8:15 Eastern, continuing on ESPNU at 9 Eastern time.
Well, we haven't seen many vertical throws by Wake Forest. And this time, to me, it feels like maybe Chris Givens down here at the bottom might be the target. Going Givens' way, single coverage and incomplete.
at the 45-yard line. Let's go back to Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Mark, AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. How about Monty Ball? He's a quality candidate, topping 200 yards rushing, scoring 3 touchdowns in Wisconsin's blowout win of Purdue, 62-17. His 24 touchdowns this season, most in the country. You can text vote to 55862 for a chance at a trip to the national championship game. Mark.
All right, Robert. M.Floyd back on this punt return for Notre Dame. He calls for fair catch at the 35-yard line. M.Floyd, like the Swiss Army knife, doing it all, or trying to at least give his teammates a little bit of help.
We're not employers or employees, not white collar or blue collar or no collars. We are business in America, and every day we awake to the same challenges. But at Prudential, we're helping companies everywhere find new solutions to manage risk, capital, and employee benefits, so American business can get on with business.
119 data points. This is what we can gather from an ordinary crash test dummy. 2 million data points. This is what we can gather from a Lexus crash test genius. When you pursue industry-leading safety, you don't just engineer breakthroughs in simulation technology. You engineer amazing.
Ich möchte Chip nicht. Ich möchte Chip nicht.
Kettle chips. Nobody likes them. They love them.
How could we make the KFC Famous Bowl even more famous?
We put bacon on it.
Wow, another one for the Colonel. Introducing the new KFC Cheesy Bacon Bowl. Try it right now for only $3.99. Today tastes so good.
It's our weekend. Should we spend it wandering in some home improvement warehouse? No. Say we go to Ace. Yeah. Get help when we walk in the door. Because we will maintain our homes and our weekend. Yeah.
Get your weekend back at Ace, the helpful place.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Prudential. Every challenge is an opportunity. Prudential. Bring your challenges. And Lexus. It's time to engineer amazing.
Welcome everyone back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Glow at night as we take a look now at our Sony Big Picture. And Andrew Luck and the Cardinal, one of 4 undefeated teams. Stanford at 9-0. Arkansas leading South Carolina right now 30-21 in a pivotal SEC game. Woods in at tailback. Floyd brought down at the 31-yard line. And back to our Sony Big Picture. Trent Richardson with just 53 yards rushing so far in a defensively slanted game right now. Alabama and LSU tied at 3 apiece. The number 1 and number 2 teams in the BCS standings.
Stanford's going to get a nice test next week. Get Oregon at home. Next 3 games for Stanford at home. Oregon, Cal, and then of course Notre Dame to finish out the season.
Reese incomplete at the 47-yard line. Intended for John Goodman. It'll be 3rd down and 4 coming up for Notre Dame. Reese with some good football lineage. He mentioned growing up going to the Rose Bowl games. His dad, a longtime NFL personnel man and former college coach at Northwestern and UCLA.
Setting up like it might be a little misdirection play with 3 guys flanking Reese in the backfield.
Comes back to the same spot in a different result. 1st down, Riddick with the catch on Wake Forest's side of midfield. He was working against Noel.
What a bizarre formation and 2 guys out in the route.
Bizarre in what sense?
Bizarre because it's like a power running, almost wing T formation. So Wake Forest thinks, I think they were thinking run, and they only run 2 routes on the outside. And the coverage was a little soft out there. Notre Dame got away with a little one that time.
12-yard gain, 1st and 10. Wood between the tackles. And Wood brought down after a gain of about 3. One more look at that last formation.
But if you look at all the bodies in the backfield, you only got 2 receivers. And these are just, it's just a 2-receiver route. So you get all of the bodies for Wake Forest here in the middle of the field because of all those bodies there. And they run an outcut there to Riddick. And so the formation by Notre Dame, I think, confused Wake Forest a little bit. And they got all of those bodies kind of packed in the middle with 4 guys in the backfield and only run 2 men out in the route.
2nd down and 6 for T.Rees. So game by game, a lot more control of this offense. They try to heat him up, but it's a run play. Wood with a ton of room. Sierra Wood, 1st down at the 15-yard line. Tackled by Quarles. And it really looked like he got him into the right play that time, or they had a good one called.
Well, Mike Golick Jr. and the left guard, Braxton Cave, or excuse me, Chris Watt, do a really good job sealing off and make a huge hole. Of course, Golick Jr. having to come in for Braxton Cave. His dad here watching him play, a colleague of ours. Nice job.
1st and 10, Rees into the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, M.Floyd. Floyd getting the last word for now.
And this is what a 224-pound receiver gives you. The physical presence of Floyd. He gets banged at the line of scrimmage. He's running a corner route. That's really good coverage, actually. But you can see how strong he is on the much smaller Noel. Noel doing the best he can, but that's just a flat mismatch.
Well, we saw earlier in the game, 2 defensive backs for Wake Forest were bumping their gums and yapping a lot at M.Floyd, and you aptly pointed out, partner, maybe it's not a good idea to poke around in that bee's nest because the hive is alive right now.
And what he brings, not only with that size and that strength, but you could see once he got separation, his speed, Noel was not able to make up the distance. So he uses the power, the 224 pounds at the line of scrimmage, but then he's able to keep that distance from Noel as he's finishing his route, and all Noel can do is try to dive and grab the arm at the end. And good soft hands, good job getting those feet down.
The 6th touchdown catch of the season, 34th of his career. Well, folks, with a win last weekend, Tony Stewart surging to within 8 points of the lead, putting the pressure on Carl Edwards as they battle it out for the championship with just 3 races remaining. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Texas. Coverage begins on ESPN Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern time.
And now with 14 straight for Notre Dame, they come out humming. Rees comes out humming. The offense looks really good right now in the 2nd half. You feel like all of the momentum has shifted over to Notre Dame's side. Wake Forest, it feels like they need some type of answer drive here, or Notre Dame may just come out and put another one on the board.
From the goal line, it's Jackson, who's done a nice job on kick returns. Couldn't find a block and brought down at the 21-yard line. Well, high above the skies tonight, aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta go DirecTV. And I know back home in Miami, Florida, I got that, and it's on channel 10 right now because I know my wife's watching the game, man. She's not watching that other one.
You sure about that?
Well, we got picture in a picture on that DirecTV too. 1st down and 10 from the 21. Pendergrass in the backfield. Demon Deeks need a response here. Pendergrass got a couple of yards, and Lynch prominent once again in on the stop. Makes you wonder if we've seen the last of Josh Harris tonight. Haven't seen him yet here in the 3rd quarter, struggling with that tender hamstring.
And Notre Dame doing the very best they can to rotate in some fresh bodies on their defensive line. Sean Swinar comes in, one of the starters beginning of the season who suffered a broken hand, one of the 3 starters who's missed at least some game time with injury.
Pendergrass again. Brought down at about the 26, picks up about 4 on the play. It'll be 3rd down, about 5 to go.
And I think this is a big 3rd down conversion. It's not the ball game. We're only in the middle of the 3rd quarter.
Right.
But the way Notre Dame is playing offensively, you just have to get a conversion. And to me, this feels like something maybe Campanaro, maybe one of those drag routes we saw earlier to Givens. Campanaro lined up in the slot to the left, and he runs the drag.
Price gets rid of it, and incomplete, intended for Dembry, and it's 4th and 5. They'll punt here for sure. And momentum heading Notre Dame's way right now.
What great pressure on the right tackle, Doug Weaver. Just does not get his feet set, and Darius Fleming just bowls him over right into the lap of Price. That's why that ball was inaccurate. Nice rush.
Michael Floyd back for this punt. Watches it bounce at the 42-yard line, takes a Notre Dame bounce up to the 43, and once again, Fighting Irish going to have good starting field position with 7.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. A forlorn look etched across the countenance of Jim Grove.
You're watching College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
Sunday NFL Countdown, now at 10 a.m. on ESPN.
Provocative. Unexpected. Defiant. The 42-mile-per-gallon CT Hybrid from Lexus. The most fuel-efficient luxury car available. And just what you need to forge your own path.
I'm Rob Jones. As a former fighter pilot, I like the fact that Quicken Loans offers VA loans.
My name is Marjorie Reyes. I am very grateful that Quicken Loans can offer service members VA loans.
As one of America's largest mortgage lenders, Quicken Loans salutes Marjorie, Rob, and all of America's amazing service members and veterans with our proud sponsorship of the 2011 Quicken Loans Carrier Classic. It's our way of thanking those who have given so much for all of us.
The all-new Range Rover Evoque. Motor Trend's 2012 Sport Utility of the Year.
Who's the baddest on any block? Who'll take control of all the cash and every hood? Find out when the Urban Wrestling Federation brings you Street King, the ultimate monster street war. When the hip-hop players and the wrestling thugs meet to see who's gonna take home the Street King World Title belt. UWF Street King, the Urban Wrestling Federation. It's a man's game now. Premiering Sunday, November 6th on pay-per-view.
You know, the late Howard Cosell was born here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 1918. His family moving to Brooklyn, New York when he was at the tender age of 3. The sportscaster was known for his irreverence and for freely expressing his opinions on every topic in sports. He is one of the original hosts of ABC's Monday Night Football. Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a Southern accent that Howard had, so not surprised he moved to New York when he was 3.
Gray with a gain of about 6 on the play, and going back to Howard Cosell, you think about him being synonymous with a lot of the great boxing matches back in the day with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And this time we want to send our thoughts and prayers out to Smoking Joe Frazier and his family. Joe in ill health right now. 2nd down and 5. Floyd had it go off his hands out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up. So after a sparkling touchdown catch the last time he touched the ball, that time losing a little concentration.
Ball got out there in a hurry, but it's a catch you need to make. Not sure how much yardage it was going to pick up, but there was some coverage over there. But I always like the chances of a guy with Floyd's power and strength in the open field, even if there is an unblocked body or two.
3rd and 5. Little heat coming by Wake Forest, and Floyd comes right back, makes the catch for the first down at the 43-yard line, working against Okoro.
And I like that Brian Kelly comes right back to Floyd. Just a quick outcut, good coverage again, but when you've got a body like that, outside receiver runs off, might as well just go right back to it.
Notre Dame has won 17 consecutive road games against first-time opponents. That's a scenario here tonight between Wake Forest and the Fighting Irish. 1st down and 10. Boyack in motion. Little pitch back and going up top. Floyd, and it's picked off at the 7-yard line. And Bush still on his feet. Knocked out of bounds at the 40. A final big play. And a late flag, it looks like, thrown as well.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 70, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, you've got a toss back.
And Brian Kelly is irate. He's incensed now.
Well, he saw on the replay on the big video board something he did not like, and trying to get that waved off, because this is a big penalty.
All the way down to the 24-yard line, and they got to get coach off the field. Underneath, wide open, Gibbons getting on his gallop and giddy up. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. A good block out front by Pendergrass.
Well, they did the throwback, and he's going for Floyd. If he would have come off underneath to Riddick, that would have been an easy pitch and catch. Instead, they throw the second. Yeah, they should have got a block in the back. Oh, that's, I don't know how in the world you call that a late hit. Brian Kelly's right. That was a bad call.
He was still in bounds.
Yeah, completely in the field of play. But another mistake by Reese on a deep ball. If he comes off underneath the Riddick, that's a completion instead of an interception.
Pendergrass with nowhere to go. They string it out. And they never turned it north-south. Brought down for a loss of 1. Back at the 9-yard line. Time for maybe a definitive moment for this Notre Dame defense, which seemed to be fatiguing a little bit at the end of the first half, Ed, but has stepped up here.
And because their offense has played so well, they've been able to sit on the sideline and catch their breath a little bit. Nick's a guy in the middle there who isn't quite ready to play 50-60 snaps. But Bob Diaco was telling us he has to with all the injuries. So getting him some rest has been helpful here in the second half.
2nd and goal. Pendergrass again fumbles it. And Notre Dame recovers it. They get it right back. Gray with the fumble recovery.
Darius Fleming, 2 drives in a row with a big play. Remember on the last 3rd down where he gets the pressure on Price that causes an incomplete pass, turnover on downs, and now Fleming this time spins inside and gets his right hand in there. Just a wonderful job by Fleming, spinning back to the inside. But that shouldn't be a fumble. There's no way in traffic that you should fumble that ball like that. That's just sloppy ball handling.
Yeah, 5 turnovers last week in that loss against North Carolina, and a costly one here. Notre Dame coming back 1st and 10. Sierra Wood in the backfield beside quarterback Tommy Rees. Wood gets about 2 on the play.
But that goes back, earlier in the season we were talking about that idea of the ball being carried high and tight. We've now seen 2 fumbles tonight from guys carrying the ball low down around their waist, and it exposes it to that just quick hit where the ball comes out. If you've got that ball high and tight against your chest, diagonally across your number, there's no way that that type of hit knocks that ball out.
Second and 8. Reese given plenty of time for Floyd. Incomplete, and a flag thrown at the late minute there. A late flag thrown as Kenny Okoro was working against Michael Floyd. Boy, Okoro went to catch the flag when he saw it coming. He wasn't happy with that either.
Interference, defense number 6, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that is a PI. No doubt about it. Remember earlier we were talking about a ball that was thrown clearly out of bounds, but Okoro goes and makes the hit right before the ball gets there, and you've got to think that Floyd was at least going to get his hands on that ball. So a good call on that one.
Had a shot, 1st and 10. This is Gray back in the ball game, and there's a flag down as well. Flag down back at the 25. And that's going to come back.
Offense number 80, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Robert Flores back in the studio. What do you have for us?
We got a lot of scoring in one SEC showdown between top 10 teams. Not LSU, Alabama, South Carolina, and Arkansas. Arkansas's Ronnie Wingo Jr. from 4 yards out, and it's 37-28 Hogs at home. Right now, Alabama still leading LSU 6-3 late in the third quarter.
Little receiver screen. That was Jones, brought down at about the 20-yard line. The good news is Jones apparently okay back in the ball game after taking that big hit earlier, where he landed on his head after making the catch going up high.
I'm shocked to see him back in. You know, when he got up, he looked punch drunk to me, and when a guy looks that wobbly, I'm sure they put him through the test and he passed all that test, but I'm shocked to see him back in the game with how he looked after hitting the back of his head from that high fall.
Second. Incomplete. They went back to Jones. And well defended. This is another look at how he was shaken up earlier.
Good job by Noel, but when Jones got up, he looked like somebody who had been punched and knocked out briefly. So
he was very disoriented at the time.
Yeah, and look, I know they took him over and they put him through the concussion drill, but whenever I see someone like that, I always think maybe it's just best shut him down.
3rd and 18. Gonna get all the way to the 38 for the first down. Reese fires. The pass is caught near the first down marker, and depending on the spot, boy, Eifert may have gotten it. Let's look at where they, pardon me, that's Goodman. Boy, that's going to be close.
What
that
a
is
nice
real
play
close
by Goodman. You could not have better coverage by A.J. Marshall. And Goodman fought him off. Goodman has size, 6'3", 207 pounds. But this is, it's really good coverage. It's almost like Goodman was boxing out Marshall, and then he very smartly fights forward. But that looked like a, well, I'm not sure that was a great spot.
Yeah, you could read the lips of Coach Brian Kelly there a minute ago saying, you moved the ball back. And that's what he's arguing about.
And you can have them review the spot. That is reviewable. So if Brian Kelly wanted to call a timeout and challenge this for the spot.
Here's a look at the yellow line. Remember, it's only an approximation.
Watch how Goodman fights forward. No, good spot. Good spot. That was, if anything, maybe a foot and a half. So Notre Dame, that was the right spot. So Notre Dame wisely set up the punt. Up 7. Wake Forest has looked a little shaky on offense here in the second half, but the spot was correct.
Lavelle Jackson on the punt return, standing at his own 28. Ben Turk standing from his 24. fair catch called at the 26-yard line. Well, turnovers, miscues, telling the tale tonight. J.Gray got ripped there. And then this was the big one a few moments ago, the fumble within scoring range, recovered by Notre Dame. And Gray with the fumble recovery. Wake Forest 75 yards away. Both teams looking for that 6th win to become bowl eligible tonight. Price fires complete. Campanaro close to the first down.
He's really good after the catch. That was one of the things, we had him as an impact player at the start of the game, but just one of those guys. He actually reminds me of Ricky Prohl, who played here, was a teammate of mine with the Arizona Cardinals. Might get his single season receiving record broken by Chris Givens this year, but Ricky was a lot like that. Once he caught the ball, his feet were always moving, always finding a soft spot in the defense.
And here's Pendergrass with a nice run, a gain of about 7 on the play. The one thing that they might not let Campanaro do tonight is throw the ball. After that reverse option pass that was thrown right to the North Carolina player last week for a pick.
Well, he's got a good stat line. He's 3 for 4 with 2 touchdowns.
Not bad.
But the problem is the incomplete was an interception, and the week before he threw one into double coverage that Chris Givens, his buddy, went up and bailed him out on. So the coach just said, that's it. Your quarterbacking days are over.
2nd and 3. Over the middle, caught. And there he is again, Campanaro with a first down. Boy, Tanner Price with great touch on that pass, Ed.
Campanaro had to catch this ball twice. You only get credit for one, but sometimes doesn't have the surest hand. You see that ball come in there. Good tackle there by Smith. But Campanaro starting to work that middle of the field because Givens on the outside has that speed threat. They can start working the middle with Campanaro.
Pendergrass gets the carry out of the eye. And might have gotten a yard on the play. Pendergrass, the team's 2nd leading rusher.
And I don't believe we have seen Josh Harris here in the 2nd half. So I think what Wake Forest may be dealing with once again is Harris having to go out because of that hamstring that's been bothering him. They told us they may pull the red shirt off Orville Reynolds.
The fastest player that Jim Grobe says he's ever had.
They want a red shirt, and that's part of what they do here at Wake Forest. They try to redshirt all of their freshmen.
2nd and 9. Complete. Campanaro again, a flag thrown. And Campanaro picks up the first down at the 17, but the question begs, will it stand?
This was the touchdown.
Holding, offense number 68, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's Colin Summers that gets called for the holding, but this was the touchdown route that we saw earlier in the ball game. And remember, Calabrese, the linebacker, did not go with him this time. Great coverage on the back route, but it was the drag that was open underneath. But needs to come back because of holding. Little misdirection. Sometimes defensive linemen start running away from you and his hands get away from your body.
Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. Time winding down here in the 3rd quarter of play.
And what a huge penalty. Takes you out of field goal range.
They get the play off. Pendergrass collared right at the line of scrimmage. Nice hit by Blanton, who came up for support.
Yeah, a smattering of boos. 2nd and 19, and you run an option. I don't like that call.
Well, the Notre Dame defense, which seemed fatigued at the end of the first half, getting its legs back under them collectively. And right now, the Fighting Irish leading by a touchdown when we come back.
How do you like it?
I don't eat red meat.
Brian!
What's your name?
My name is Keith Stone.
Keith Stone. You're so smooth.
Always.
Keystone Light is always smooth, like Keith Stone.
John Hancock, the future is yours. Visit findtheanswers.com.
Hey, you'll love this.
Thing's sick.
Yeah, it's got 2 lenses, so the 3D's amazing.
Ever heard of 3D, Grandpa?
It's easy to use, and the best part is...
We can make 3D movies at home and watch them in 3D or HD. Check it out. That picture's incredible.
Mom, this new TV is so cool.
When you turn on a Sony, you can't help but show it off. Share your story at sony.com/stories.
Hey, everyone's eating tacos outside Bill's office. Don't you think that's some information I would like to know? I like tacos. You invited Eric? I thought Eric gave you the creeps. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
Don't be left behind. Get it faster with 4G. AT&T.
The American Garage. The temple of the tune-up. The Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone!
AutoZone.
Following a huge win at Martinsville, Tony Stewart surged to within 8 points of the lead and issued a warning for Carl Edwards.
He better be worried, that's all I gotta say.
Putting the pressure on the points leader to win his first chase. Now, in the final 3 races, the championship duel is on. Can Carl step up to the challenge, or will Smoke take him down for his 3rd title? The chase continues at Texas, tomorrow at 2 Eastern on ESPN.
Catch the exclusive unveiling of the highly anticipated new BCS standings in the aftermath of the big LSU-Alabama showdown.
With 1 loss, they're likely to be ranked ahead of Boise State.
BCS Countdown, tomorrow at 8:15 on ESPN.
ESPN Films presents Roll Tide, War Eagle, Tuesday at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Welcome back for the 4th quarter. First, let's take a look at this week's BCS standings, brought to you by Allstate. LSU and Alabama at a 6-3 game right now. Alabama with the lead, even though they've missed a few field goals. Oklahoma State sitting there at the number 3 spot. And Stanford's still one of the undefeated teams as well, number 4. 3rd and 19 for Wake Forest. Under heat and sacked back at the 46. Shembo bringing down Tanner Price.
And it all comes back to that holding call. That's the one you put a mark next to. They were at least in field goal range. They back up, they run an option, and then get a sack. What a gutsy performance by this defensive front. Short-handed. Looked like they may lose Lynch, who's come back in, but they've been able to get pressure pretty consistently here in the second half on Price.
Goodman back at his own 9-yard line. Wake Forest is going to get this inside and down it inside the 5-yard line. A 43-yard punt by Wolfeck, and nothing on the return. Well, it's country music's biggest night, folks. That's right, with amazing performances by all of your favorite stars. Brad Paisley and Carrie Underwood host the CMA Awards live Wednesday, November 9th at 8, 7 Central on ABC. Tell you what, that LSU-Alabama game reminds me of a country song. It goes something like, you broke my heart, so I broke your jaw. That game's like a street fight right now.
Yeah, there's some punching going on.
Jonas Gray in at tailback, 1st down and 10. And Gray picks up about 2. Gray doing yeoman work tonight in the backfield. 2nd consecutive start in place of Sierra Wood.
You know, this is where aggressive play caller sometimes. This is kind of the take it out offense where the defense thinks you're just going to run heavy, try to get away from your goal line. But this is where you can do a play fake and maybe sneak M.Floyd down the sideline.
Floyd lined up to the top of the screen. Go his way, makes the catch and lunges. Great effort for the first down. He was working against Noel. For all that talking that started early in the ball game when they threw a pass over Floyd's head, incomplete. Floyd having the last word on the last couple of plays.
Young man who had some off the field problems, was suspended after a DUI in April and was put through some counseling. Talked about how he changed the people that he was hanging out with off the field. And those things, I think, as the NFL starts to look into his background, are going to help him as much as his ability on the field, as if he really has made some changes.
J.Gray with nowhere to go. He's going to lose a couple of yards. And yeah, getting back to M.Floyd, it was a complete, comprehensive overhaul of his lifestyle, which included his eating habits. Did great work in the weight room and getting his body ready and getting in shape for a great run his senior season.
And it was something that had to happen. That was not the first time he had been in trouble off the field. So Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame family sat him down, told him what he had to do to come back, and it was all or none. He was not going to be a couple game suspension. He was either back or he was gone, and he did the work necessary to get himself back, and apparently has changed his life a lot on the outside. And like I said, when you get towards the NFL draft and teams start looking into that, they don't want a guy, doesn't matter how much talent you have. They'll take a risk occasionally, but they won't do it in a high draft pick. And of course, that's where Floyd is expected to go, somewhere in the top 15. And once they start looking at that background, they want to know that they can count on a young man if they're going to pay him that much money and risk that pick.
Wake Forest defense needs a stop here to stop this surge. 3rd and 10 coming up. A chance to seize back some momentum. The draw, J.Gray looking for a hole, stays on his feet, but he's not going to get there. And the Demon Deacons defensively respond. Mike Olson with the tackle sets up a 4th and long.
Good stop for Wake Forest.
And the defense responding that time, and they should get decent field position here.
And Notre Dame got all of that momentum there in the 3rd quarter, but not able to get another score on, go up 2 scores, letting Wake Forest hang around here in the 4th quarter.
4th punt of the night by Turk, standing at his own 2-yard line. Rolls to his right. And the ball tight ropes it down the sidelines and takes a very propitious, prosperous Notre Dame bounce all the way down to the 31-yard line. Added up, and it's 52 yards in all. Wake Forest with the ball when we come back. 11 minutes to go in the 4th.
And more live on my computers, iPads, and iPhones. Oh, yeah.
Watch ESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. The ESPN networks, live anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, BB&T Field has a seating capacity of 31,500, the smallest venue that Notre Dame has played at since December 1st, 1945. Great Lakes Naval Training Station. The name of the field was Great Lakes Naval Constitutional Field. Seating capacity 23,000. And tonight's attendance, including all those lovely people up on the hill, 4th largest in school history. It's a pretty good game tonight. Home team down by 7 with a chance here. The reverse, Gibbons. And a host of Notre Dame players there unable to make a tackle. Amazingly stays on his feet. And now rocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Getting enough for the first. He picked up 11. He probably ran about 40.
He's electric. He is so good in the open field. And unfortunately for Notre Dame, Aaron Lynch down again. But this is completely defended. Teo's over there. We had Zeke Mata over there, and he just outruns them all.
Nice little hand walk thrown in there. And for the 2nd time tonight, Aaron Lynch is tended to and taken off the field. He came back earlier. That looks like the same leg as earlier as well, too, the left one.
Yeah, he rolled that left ankle on the play he went out before. So now it's patchwork again up front for Brian Kelly and Bob Diaco.
And on that last play, we got a first look at Orville Reynolds, who took the toss before handing it off to Chris Givens. Reynolds, the talented freshman for Wake Forest. They're hoping to redshirt him. 1st and 10. That pass complete to Campanero. Let's check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Mike. Fourth quarter in Tuscaloosa. Mark.
All right, Robert, back here, 2nd down and 3. This is the freshman we were alluding to a minute ago with a nice burst in the 1st round. Reynolds on his 1st carry tonight. 2nd carry, actually, officially.
And Reynolds was a guy that they were hoping to redshirt. The last thing they wanted to do was pull his red shirt. But Brandon Pendergrass, a guy who's had to completely carry the load for the most part, because Josh Harris, the other running back that they were hoping to start, Harris, a guy who had 136 yards against Florida State. This is the guy you mentioned. They say he's the fastest player they've ever had in the program. They didn't want to have to pull his red shirt, but they had to have a 2nd running back, and they just can't count on Harris.
1st and 10 from the 42. Price off his back foot completes it nonetheless to his tight end Cameron Ford, who makes the grab at the 27. A 16-yard gain, and the Demon Deacs a little amped up right now.
Good protection this time. Got his feet a little twisted around. That ball floated on him some. Just a little bit of a nitpick, but you know, as he gets a little more mature in the pocket, no reason to hop step like that to the side. That ball floated just a touch on him.
Reynolds in the backfield beside Price. Little option. They try to get Reynolds free on the outside, but he's brought down to the 30-yard line. Good tackle by Blanton, who's had a few of those tonight.
I think they need to toss that option out of the playbook. It hasn't worked one time tonight. As a matter of fact, I would imagine they have negative yardage, and that's at least the 2nd time that Blanton has been the man who's come up to blow it up. And a lot of teams want that option in there, so you have to get ready for it. But if I'm Steve Lebowski, I'd take out the pin instead of the highlighter and scratch that one off of my sheet.
Reynolds back there again in the backfield beside Price. Price steps up, has a blocker in front of him, and runs out of bounds right at the 20-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and about 4 to go. Picked up 10 on the play. What do you do here, Ed?
I think this is a screen down. Either a screen to Givens or look for Campanero over the middle again. Campanero's been working the middle of this coverage for Notre Dame. And he'll be lined up in the slot to the left.
Wake Forest with 3 timeouts remaining. Notre Dame with the same number. Last time they were this close to scoring, they coughed it up. That was back in the 3rd quarter. Wide open, Givens with the 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 9-yard line for the Demon Deacons. An 11-yard gain. Boy, quarterback Price showed a lot of moxie that time in the pocket.
And because the tight end runs off, the linebackers have to go with them, and Givens comes right underneath as Cameron Ford released down the seam. Good call by Steve Lebowski that time.
Price tried to bail out, but a little bit too late.
You can't take a sack there.
Sack by Tuitt.
You've got to throw that ball away. Good pressure again. Give Notre Dame tons of credit with this defensive line. And Bob Diaco doing everything he can. He calls line stunts here. Watches the defensive lineman cross. The 2 left defensive linemen came down. And then the right side came around, and Tuitt does it. But you, as a young quarterback, that clock has to go off. And you cannot take a sack and get yourself to 2nd and goal from the 21.
Third Notre Dame sack of the night. Rice, they set up the screen. And what a play that time by the strong safety Harrison Smith. He and Teo, maybe the two leaders on that defensive unit for the Fighting Irish. And it's 3rd and goal.
What a great job by Smith. Just read this the whole way. He had snuck down around the line of scrimmage. And he just reads it right away and blasts on it. No way the offensive lineman, Michael Hogue, is getting over that.
All the way at the 25, it's 3rd and goal. Into the end zone, and incomplete, intended for Campanero. And a drive that started off 1st and goal from about the 9-yard line. Now they're looking at a field goal with 5.5 to go.
And it all goes back to that sack. Wonderful job by Stephon Tuitt, one of the true freshmen that's starting up there because of all the injuries. Capron Lewis Moore out. Ethan Johnson has not been able to go again tonight because of that high ankle sprain. So nice job for Notre Dame with a patchwork defensive line.
Newman's already made one from 46. This from 42. A knuckler will go wide. He pushed it off to the right. And Wake Forest misses and can't cash in on a great opportunity. Still down by 7 with 5:24 to go, but the coach seemingly calm. And that ended the streak of 14 consecutive field goals for Jimmy Newman.
So, you didn't get a Miller Lite?
No, what's the difference?
Miller Lite has more taste.
I don't care. I just got one of these.
Well, that's the second unmanly thing you've done today.
Yeah. What was the first?
Hey, guys! I'm on a scooter!
That was unmanly.
Man up and choose Miller Lite. We add hops not once, not twice, but 3 times. Brewed for that great Pilsner taste.
Hey, Ricky!
We ride together. What's up?
With gout, high uric acid can lead to more attacks. If you have gout and struggle with high uric acid, there may be something that can help. Uloric reduces the amount of uric acid your body produces, which can help you reach a healthy level. Uloric lowers uric acid levels in adults with gout. It's not for the treatment of high uric acid without a history of gout.
Don't take Uloric if you are taking azathioprine or mercaptopurine. Gout may flare when starting Uloric. Don't stop taking it. Your doctor may give you other medicines to help prevent flares. A small number of heart attacks, strokes, and heart-related deaths were seen in studies. It's not certain Uloric caused them. Certain tests to check liver function may be required. Tell your doctor about liver or kidney problems or history of heart disease or stroke. The most common side effects are liver problems, nausea, gout flares, joint pain, and rash.
If you have gout and struggle with high uric acid, ask your doctor how Uloric may help.
Now at Subway, get a free 6-inch sandwich of your choice when you buy a 6-inch sandwich before 9 a.m. That's right, buy one, get one free. It's everything you'd expect from the sandwich experts. Hurry in before 9 a.m. to get your free sandwich.
ESPN Films presents Roll Tide, War Eagle, Tuesday at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. And in part by Uloric. For more information, visit uloric.com.
Welcome back, everyone, and let's take a look at our game summary brought to you by Pacific Life. A lot of scoring early in the ball game, 10 points from each team in the first quarter, and it's slowed down considerably since. There's a look at the numbers.
That turnover for Wake Forest, huge down inside.
Ed Wood running at that time and picks up a few. Notre Dame looking for 6 wins against 3 defeats, and you know there's a lot of people within the Fighting Irish family that feel those first 2 games of the season will always be the ones that got away. Second down and 6. Notre Dame, very special and storied institution, faith-based institution. Sierra Wood picks up the first down. It's a place that you had a chance to visit as a high school recruit.
You did. when Lou Holtz was the coach there, and it is a different place. You know, we were talking to Brian Kelly, and I was a little shocked when I got there and realized, you know, all the players have to live in the dorms for 4 years. There are some challenges at Notre Dame that are very unique to that place. And, you know, Brian Kelly was telling us they're very upfront with players as they start to recruit them. And I'm not saying Lou Holtz wasn't upfront with me, but I had no idea when I got there that, you know, the players had to live in the dorms just like everybody else for 4 years, and a little different than other places. But Brian Kelly talks about how they let people know that right up front, because if Notre Dame's not for you, they don't really want to recruit you.
There's Sierra Wood chopped down after a gain of about 2 on the play. There's a flag down with 4:02 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
When you look at the illustrious history of Notre Dame back then and the present now, how do you reconcile the two? Where are they as a program?
I think there are some challenges for Notre Dame that are so much different than back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s and into the 90s. If you think about college football now and all of the platforms that it's shown on, not only ESPN, CBS, Fox, NBC, all of these people showing college football, it used to be that Notre Dame was the only show in town, and now everybody's getting coverage, everybody's known, and you're in not a very populous state. In the places you do recruit, you're competing against everybody in the Big Ten. I know they have a national footprint, but things are so much different now in the college football landscape that I'm not sure you're ever going to see that dominance again from any program, not just Notre Dame.
Look at that graphic when they won their national title back in 1988. 97% of the players weren't even born. And the last time they won their Heisman, not one of them was.
I'll never forget, I was interviewing Bobby Bowden after they had played at Notre Dame, and he took his players. Of course, the College Football Hall of Fame is there in South Bend, but he took his players, and he was so upset that his players didn't know the history of Notre Dame. And this was just a few years ago, and I said, Coach, how many guys on your team were alive when Notre Dame won a national championship? He thought about it, and he realized, you're right. These young men today, they don't know this history because it wasn't during their lifetime.
Jonas Gray picks up another Irish first down, and the clock now strongly in their favor. Wake Forest with 3 timeouts remaining.
And I think Wake Forest, at some point, of course, Brian Kelly took some guff for not using some timeouts when they were down 2 scores against USC at the end of the ball game 2 weeks ago. But I think Jim Grove's got to be sitting there starting to think about, we got to start thinking about maybe using some timeouts to save this. But a nice clock-eating drive here so far by Notre Dame.
You got guys like Jonas Gray and Sierra Wood. It certainly helps. This is Jonas Gray off the right side into Wake Forest territory at the 48-yard line. Well, this week on Monday Night Football, Jay Cutler and the Bears need a win to keep pace with the Lions as they face Michael Vick and an Eagles team that is looking for its 3rd straight win. Bears, Eagles, ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Also available on Watch ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Well, the Eagles with a big win last week against the Dallas Cowboys, and Michael Vick really seemed to get in a good rhythm. And Wake Forest calling timeout a moment ago. 2nd down and 5 coming up for Notre Dame.
I think in talking to Brian Kelly about where the program is, one of the things that he mentioned was he pointed out last year against Navy, and the difference between last year and this year is they were able to control the line of scrimmage. And I think the biggest growth that I've seen is this offensive line. You know, not to give up any sacks. I don't believe they've given up a sack tonight. So they have not given up a sack since September 24th against Pittsburgh. Now, a lot of that has to do with a good running game, good blocking by the backs. Reese gets the ball out very quickly. But this offensive line has turned into a very good unit.
Trying to pave the way once again for Gray, who's close to another first down. Hey, getting back to that recruiting visit of yours. So what was the difference between the dorms at University of Washington, where you ultimately ended up, in Notre Dame?
Well, and that's the biggest difference is at most schools, when you go there, you live in the dorm for maybe a year, maybe 2, and then a lot of guys move off campus. Now, it's all students at Notre Dame, not just the athletes, but everyone has to live in the dorms. And so it is a little different if you're looking for a college experience where you can live off campus. It's a big choice to make to go to Notre Dame.
I know the truth. You didn't have that maid service, right? Notre Dame up by 7 when we come back. 1:47 to go.
This is College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
The most headroom per dollar of any car in America. The all-new Nissan Versa sedan from $10,990. Innovation upsized. Innovation for all.
Cut! I have a small part in a big movie. I thought we'd be on location for 3 days. It's been 3 weeks. So I used my City Simplicity card to pick up a few things. And I don't have to worry about a late fee, which is good. Because I don't think we're going anywhere for a while.
Write your story with the new City Simplicity card. No late fees, no penalty rate, no worries. Get started at citysimplicity.com.
Cardiology, I don't have the heart. Pulmonary doctor, no cigar. I can't diagnose a simple cold or flu, but if your engine's got a call, I know what to do. Give it 6 of these and wash it down with this. A new air filter ought to help it catch its breath. Now but know how. Now but know how.
Rated M for mature.
They're coming!
It's our weekend. Should we spend it wandering in some home improvement warehouse? No. Say we go to Ace. Yeah. Get help when we walk in the door. Because we will maintain our homes and our weekend. Yeah.
Get your weekend back at Ace, the helpful place.
Contact your provider to learn how to get ESPN 3D.
Folks, stay tuned for the Ford wrap-up after the game, and a reminder, fans, to log on to Ford.com/big score for your chance to win a 2012 F-150. High above B&T Field, Notre Dame trying to put this game on ice. Gray fighting. Oh, I'm not sure that he got that first down on 3rd and 1. Let's see where they spot it. They gave him a very favorable spot. And by the spot, they may have gotten it.
It was that second effort, though. He did get hit behind the line of scrimmage, but as he fought forward, I think this is a good spot.
And Wake Forest down to 1 timeout.
If you're Notre Dame and you didn't get it, I think you punt this. Get it down inside the 15. Now, you can have this reviewed again. Spots are reviewable. But once they set the ball, it wasn't quite as favorable.
Yeah. Oh, we got it.
By a bump on the football.
Now, what does Wake Forest have to do in terms of trying to slow this train down a little bit with that timeout remaining?
Well, with only 1 timeout, this ball game is on ice. Notre Dame should be able to run out the clock without having to do anything but take knees now.
You're watching College Football Primetime on ESPN, presented by Miller Lite.
Taco Bell's Double XL Chalupa. Double the premium seasoned beef, warm nacho cheese sauce, and toppings upon toppings in a monster chalupa shell. It's so big, you're gonna need a closer.
This just in. Me. You're done. Fact.
John Hancock Mutual Funds. Visit JH Funds.
All new Nissan Versa sedan. Innovation upsized. Innovation for all. most legroom per dollar of any car in America. From $10,990. The all-new Nissan Versa sedan. Innovation upsized. Innovation for all.
Back in a sec. Cool. What's up, Clay Matthews? You want a piece of me?
This ain't over, punk.
Whoa, I see you met my Clay Matthews fathead.
Real big fathead. Get yours at fathead.com.
This Veterans Day, live on the flight deck of the USS Carl Vinson, Michigan State faces #1 ranked North Carolina in the Quicken Loans Carrier Classic. The season takes flight November 11, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN 3D.
Boy, what a scene that's going to be on the USS Carl Vinson. I believe the aircraft carrier that laid to rest the body of Osama bin Laden. And Wake Forest out of timeouts right now. Notre Dame looking for its 6th win and becoming bowl eligible in various scenarios out there for the Fighting Irish. A BCS one still mathematically,
they're not
theoretically
mathematically
there, right?
out of it. You have to have 9 wins, which they'd have to win out, including a win against a very good Stanford team, and they'd have to be in the top 14 of the BCS. That's the one that I think is the longer stretch. I think this team's good enough to beat Stanford. I think Stanford's beatable, but you get to 9 wins, maybe you start sneaking up. They're not out of it. But the most likely scenario is the Champs Sports Bowl. And when you start looking at the predictions, the ACC school that will fit in there, which would be the 4th ACC school Notre Dame will play this year, most likely will be a Florida State team that, frankly, is playing very good right now, getting much better with E.J. Manuel back at quarterback. So
be a pretty good matchup. Of course, this game, the first of 3 in Notre Dame's ACC tour.
And the thing for Wake Forest now, they have to come back, lick some wounds a little bit. Talk about missed opportunities. I don't want it to take anything away from the way Notre Dame played tonight, but a fumble inside the 10-yard line for Wake Forest, and then a sack on a 1st and goal from the 9. Then they lost yardage on a screen play, got no points out of that drive. But Wake Forest travel to Clemson, and who knows? Remember, they beat a good Florida State team earlier in the year, and if they win there and beat Maryland, they can win the Atlantic Division, be in the ACC championship game.
Well, Notre Dame improves to 6-3 overall. And Wake Forest falls to 5-4. Still, though, 4-2 in conference play. A couple of big ones coming up. Well, once again, our final score. Notre Dame the winners for Ed Cunningham and our entire crew this evening. I'm Mark Jones. Pretty close game, 24-17. We're going to say good night from Wake Forest.
All right, Mark.
That get pressure on Roethlisberger tonight.
Rodney, Steelers a half game behind in the standings. We're under.